as others.
President Trump is ordering proof of citizenship for voter registration lists used in federal elections and requiring states to only count ballots received by Election Day. Federal law already prohibits non-citizens from voting. The order calls on federal agencies to work with states on voter lists and threatens to pull funding for states that don't comply.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The president's long controversially claimed the 2020 election he lost was rigged. Another executive order he signed dates back to 2016, directing the FBI to release all the files into what he calls the witch hunt, the investigation into whether the Trump campaign was working with Russia to influence that election. Now, speaking of Russia, the president's touting U.S.-led talks trying to end the war in Ukraine.
We are making a lot of progress.
Russia and Ukraine in negotiations this week have agreed to stop targeting Black Sea ships. America's listening to Fox News.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money? A bigger house? Maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How you wake up each day? How you sleep? What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So if pain is affecting your life, see how Relief Factor can help. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, it doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or even eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So give their 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call, 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're hurting, in 3 weeks or even days, Relief Factor can give you a chance to rediscover the true meaning of living better again. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is a wide open Wednesday, and I'll tell you why. Because Front Office Los came in, and he has a fully leaded monster. I mean, this thing is gigantic.
As big as you can get, really.
That's right. I'm talking. He was like, I stopped, had to get some air in the tire, which we've all been there. But what occurred after was something extraordinary.
I made it a point.
That'll improve the show even today.
I made it a point. I was like, all right, I need air in the tire because I got the slow leak going.
Yep.
And I won't get it fixed until after I close on the next home. So I fuel it up right now with air about 3 to 4 times a week.
That's the worst, isn't it?
It's the dumbest thing ever. I have become that guy. I just don't want to make any purchases right now.
No, I get it.
So outside of that, but I will purchase a 24 fluid ounce Monster energy drink.
Let's go. I have the old Monster Rainstorm.
Yeah. And those are good. We like those.
Yeah, but it's tiny in comparison.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. By the time we hit 8:30, you're going to be like, oh, I feel tired. And I'll be like this. What do you mean? Why do you feel tired? What are you talking about?
I'm over here doing cartwheels.
Got a standard 16-ounce cup of black coffee.
Oh,
wow.
Not even a branded styrofoam cup.
Buddy. Yeah. And just straight black coffee, just...
Yes, sir.
That's why Mama drinks it, too.
So, Tug is at a point where he's never had a full cup of coffee. I've never had a full cup of coffee. But I don't hate on it. I think there's something that's really... like, the only thing you're missing right now, Jerry, is a cigarette.
Buddy.
I mean, like, old school radio is black
he's
coffee.
Got his Zen.
Yeah, and he's got his Zen
can. We're good to go.
He's like,
I mean, if you just had a lit cigarette in that room,
it would actually...
It'd be 1980s radio.
The scene would be set. But now we've fast forwarded to 2025, and they've told you, that smoking's bad for you and it gives you lung cancer.
Well, they already knew that, but for some reason they've decided at a radio station that they'll fuel on caffeine everywhere. Suddenly, they won't allow any more cigarettes.
Which is
cannot imagine the smell back in those old studios.
Oh, those old studios.
Dude. Yeah, they're rough. So I remember going to the first airplane flight I took was a guy I was friends with in high school. His daddy was from New York, and mom and dad had divorced. Mom was from Georgia, so they lived in Georgia. Dad went back to New York. And so we went up for about 2 weeks to Long Island. First time I'd ever, flown was to Long Island. And I remember the seat back having a ashtray.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
They're still in some planes.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen one in a while. I try not to fly if I don't have to, but... Then, when I was in the Navy, there were ashtrays in the Combat Information Center. I mean, it was still, because, the ship was the USS South Carolina was christened, I think, in 1975 or something like that, and it had some built-in ashtrays here and there, and so there's once in a while you'll just see that whatever that is that reminds you, oh, people, they used to smoke, and a lot. But I would imagine radio stations stunk. And I don't. Cigarette smoke doesn't bother me. I know it does a lot of people. A lot of people, they hate it or whatever. Daddy used to smoke when I was a kid. It never
That's when he
me.
left, according to the song.
Well, I know, but the song is a little bit misleading.
I know, but you have to dramatize these things.
Yeah, I know, right.
It's like, and I know how much your father meant to you, but when you hear the song that I created from AI with Tug, it's that he goes to have a cigarette, he goes to buy smokes, and he never comes back home.
Never came back home, right?
And so you had to grow up. You had to grow up quick.
That's right. Out in the wild, in the free.
Like I would imagine this though. I have my dad in town this weekend,
That's awesome.
I'm going to make the point to him. I'll be like, again, it's not braggadocio. Like, hey, Tug, here's my dad. Where's your dad? Because every time I'd bring up my family being in town, I worked on Chuck and Chernoff over on our sister station. They've all lost all their family members. So whenever I'd be like, hey, my mom's in town, she's going to come watch the kids. They're like, are you bragging? I'm like, no. But I'm going to be like, Dad, did you ever think about going to buy a pack of smokes
and not coming back? And he's going to be like, no.
Like,
why?
No, it didn't really make any sense. I was gainfully employed. I had a career. Why would I leave?
Like, why would that even be crossing your mind? Well, you don't know. It's just this the whole thing at work. It's all we talk about is people's daddies running off.
They buy cigarettes and they
never come back. This guy I work with, his name's Tug. It's what happened to him.
We all like to imagine what's it going to be like when Daddy leaves to go buy some cigarettes and never comes back home.
That's right.
But that's a country song.
It is.
That is.
And an issue for women, like when Daddy don't come back. I mean, ladies that grow up when the dad relationship is strained, I fully believe, and I don't know if there's research to back it up, I would lean on those for that, but ladies that don't have their daddies around or have a tough relationship with their dads.
They're very flexible. It's the best way I can put it.
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm just saying that from what I understand, from having done the research, being that I have married a woman whose dad is in the picture.
Yeah.
I just know that for some that their dads are not in the picture, they have a moral flexibility that I find to be interesting.
That's exactly right.
Like their dad went for cigarettes, he didn't come back, and they went down a different road.
They did.
Welcome to Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir. We're out of control, but we're glad that you're here.
Hold on a second.
Listen to
there we go.
Now it's on. The 24 fluid ounce Monster Energy is open.
Here we go.
I watched a video of a parrot singing "You Somebody" by Kings of Leon. It was great.
All right. So let me do this for the audience. And by the way, if you're here at 609, you're so damn strong. So I sit down, right over here at my little Commander hub, get my microphone in front of me, start pulling out my emails and everything else. And Tug Cowart can tell me anything at this point, Jerry. Like, I don't know what his conversation is with you in the morning. Probably it's over audio, what you're planning on doing.
A little bit of all of it.
Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the day. I sit down, and he just goes, hey. Like, okay, what's up? I'll listen to a parrot
sing a song,
You Somebody.
By Kings
of Leon. And his master had a guitar.
It was impressive. So the little, it's not a huge parrot, not like the macaws that are big. This is one of those smaller ones. I don't know what their names are, but the smaller parrot.
Small macaw.
Small macaw. Yes,
Petey.
of course.
Yeah.
What did you say? Something?
Petey.
Pete? No, not like name. I mean, like
his head fell off.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Was it Dumb and Dumber?
Thank you. Yeah. There you go.
Let's go.
That was before he got on the naval ship. That's right. Why he still.
I still remember it. No, but so this guy's playing "You Somebody," and the link, that got me on YouTube was parrot sings "You Somebody." I was like, okay, I'm in, and I click on it, and it's not good enough to play on the show because he doesn't stay with it. It's not like a full song. He just chimes in every once in a while, but it's on key, and it's right where the song is as the dude plays the guitar. So he sings at his own cadence. He's like, I'll sing some, and then I'll walk around some, and then I'll do the thing. But it was pretty awesome. And Brian Finneran, who played for the Falcons forever, that works down the hall in the morning.
He's
show.
a simple man, simply amused.
Absolutely. And he was like, "What are you laughing at?" I was
wow,
like,
you just insulted him really good.
"What do you mean?"
Nothing. I'm just saying.
Oh. So he was like, "What do you?"
He just comes up to you drooling. He's like, "What do you have to show me?"
He's like, "Yeah, what funny you laugh at?
What funny you got?"
And so I was like, "Well, it's a parrot singing you somebody."
That funny.
And he was like, "That is pretty funny."
It's all the concussions, really.
I would imagine so. But what does that say about me?
Me like Tug funnies. Me like seeing Tug videos.
Tug like cat videos and bird videos.
Show me more animal video.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, so good. And
when he comes on the show, he should beat both our asses.
No, he should, and maybe he will. Although he does, funny enough, he does creep in.
Yes, he does.
To
check in,
whisper about the political world, because he's one of us.
We're gonna bring him in once the Falcons
don't out him.
Make the playoffs.
Yes,
it's only been 7 years.
Well, maybe this will be the year. Maybe. Probably not. But if it were,
but that's when our audience is going to hear
from Finn,
from Brian Finneran,
and then we'll turn it around on him and ask him what he thinks about President Trump and the things that are going on, and he won't be able to resist. He'll tell you what he thinks, because he does it quietly now. But he just works with people that probably don't see eye to eye with him, and there's no reason to make the studio uncomfortable or what I mean?
A little BLM Central on the left.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to know about?
Yeah, exactly.
Still buying into that one.
Yeah, and mass.
Tried to tell them all. I was like, okay, guys, this is all BS, and they're like, what do you mean?
Go.
Yeah.
You must go.
So I had to come down the hall.
That's right. Finn will be down the hall. It won't be long, I'm sure. Tulsi Gabbard, she told us what we already knew, that the Atlantic story was Big Nothing Burger, and the mainstream media, man, it was everywhere yesterday. They finally felt they had a breakthrough after 65 days now, I think it is 66 days that Trump has been in office, and everything has been going swimmingly. Everything's going well. His popularity's still through the roof. And this Atlantic story breaks, and they're like, finally, we have our moment. We're going to be able to convince somebody that he's not as good as he says he is, and things aren't going as great as they seem to be.
We're going to get him.
We're going to get him. And then nothing. They got nothing.
Giant nothing burger. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard flat out said it. There was no information in here that was considered classified.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
But by the way, the writer of the article over at The Atlantic was like, well, they gave me classified information. They're like, oh, so what do you have? Like, what can you share? Nothing.
Well, nothing. It's classified. I can't put it out there because it's classified. Now he says he's going to run it by the administration to see what he can share. He's going to, threatening, I suppose, to share all the entire chat leak. And I say, go for it.
Go for it. Get in there, big guy.
And classified is such a murky area, because I had a secret clearance when I was in the Navy. And then when you went out to sea, it went up to probably top secret, as you need to know, because that's what the military works on a need-to-know basis. And, man, I clean toilets most of the time, so I didn't need to know much. But the clearance was there in case I did.
Yeah, I mean, the text messaging at that point when you were out at sea was different.
Yes, that's right. And the communication was different.
No more tug nudes.
That's right. Exactly. I stopped because I didn't want to get caught. You don't want that shared with the entire fleet. But so it would go up, and then when you went back in port, there was no need to know, there's nothing to see. Then, it just went back to whatever it was originally. But you would read things, that were secret or top secret or classified or whatever it was, confidential even. And you'd be like, well, none of this makes sense. That doesn't seem like a big deal at all. I remember most of the information that came, to me, I would be like, I'd read it or, disseminate it or pass it on, whatever it was. And you'd be like, well, that doesn't really seem like it needs to be secret. That seems like a bold brand for this little piece of information that doesn't really mean anything. It seems like common sense.
But that is why when you and I both read through that information yesterday, and when I said, okay, well, this information getting out is sloppy. That's how it goes.
Oh, that for sure.
And that's for sure. But you were the first person from reading correspondence on a regular basis on a naval ship that said, there's nothing here.
And there wasn't. And maybe it's...
None of your red flags went off.
Nothing. Zero. And so we'll see how all this shakes out. But as it stands right now, they got nothing. And it will, whoever said, I remember the Axios article from the day yesterday that said this will be 48 hours and it'll be gone. And I believe it. And here's why I think, Los, it'll be like that. Because Donald Trump admitted, yeah, we messed up. It was a mistake. It's like, the American people are the most forgiving people in the world. As long as you're honest and don't try to cover it up, don't try to pull the wool over their eyes, they're the most forgiving people in the world. You see it with, TV stars, movie stars, they'll mess up something and then, they get lambasted on the news and then finally they bounce back and all's forgiven.
What I would ask is this.
But I think it comes down to honesty.
For when MSNBC runs their Chyron or CNN runs their Chyron, that's the graphic on the bottom of the screen where they talk about, this leak. What I was always ask is this, and I would put it to Aunt Peg as well. Did this get 13 American servicemen killed?
That's exactly right, dude.
And that's always what it comes back to.
And it got no one killed. No one was in danger. There was not a threat of anybody being hurt. There was nothing.
That's my new standard.
Yeah, well,
did this get 13 American servicemen killed?
Because you didn't see John Ossoff, who we'll talk about him being a tough guy later, but that was his big stance in the hearing. And he was trying to come down and bring this hammer down, and I kept thinking to myself, where were you when 13 service members got killed? Where were you? Did you raise this stink? No, you didn't. I know you didn't. No, nobody did. They tried to act like that was nothing. They celebrated that as a success. They were successfully leaving Afghanistan, and the thumbs up, Joe Biden thought it was great.
John Ossoff, to me, is the Macy's Day Parade. All right, like, I point out these certain things and understand the difference in being gay and homosexual. All right, like, parades are gay, okay?
Yeah.
John Ossoff is, like, parade gay. Like, it's not really useful.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there, and now that he's in trouble, now he's trying to act like, I'm a big, strong senator. I'm going to be asking questions and being a tough guy. Dude, you're gay as a parade. I mean, let's face it. John Ossoff is an empty suit who got installed by the Democrat Party where they used a lot of games to get that to go through. And now that his butt is on the line, now he's like, I'm going to be assertive. Now you're going to hear from John Ossoff. Come on, dude.
The timing smells so bad after he looked so ridiculous for not allowing the vote to happen to protect women in women's sports, women's safe spaces. When he has a daughter. That's the part that stands out to me the most. Because I know what Los would do to protect his daughters. I know. It wouldn't matter. Whatever it took to protect his daughters, he would do. It would not matter the risk. It would not matter the situation, whatever it took to protect his... And I would throw his wife in there too. John Ossoff chose. He didn't even... There was not a roadblock. There was not a big scary monster. There was not someone coming at him with a knife. And he still chose not to protect his own daughter and other people's daughters and other people's wives. So don't tell me, John Ossoff, how tough you are, because I don't believe you. I believe you're weak. And I believe, just like Lo said, you're an empty suit. That's what I think about you. And I try not to think bad about people. Most of the time, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But when you show me who you are, immediately show me who you are, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to think except what you've shown me? John Ossoff is weak. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We got off to a crazy start. It's a Wild Wednesday. I don't know what that means, Wild Wednesday, but that's what we're on.
Stick around to find out.
That's exactly right. The Talkmaster, Neil Bort's going to make your Wednesday even better next on Extra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
I admire most of what Donald Trump is doing. I wish he'd slow down Elon Musk, not in what he's doing, but how he acts. I love what Elon Musk is doing. But, hey, guy, don't dance around with chainsaws. I'm not even allowed to own a chainsaw.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Sniffles, sneezing. I can't keep my throat clear this morning. You see, when I was in my house, all warm and in the bed, guess what I wasn't doing? Any of those things. It wasn't until I got outside, my safe space, my house, that things had gone south. And that pollen, man, you can start writing your name on the hood of your car. It is a bad situation with this whole pollen. But you know it's coming. You know what's happening. It happens every year. If you've lived in Georgia any time or born and raised here like I was, you know this time of year is going to be rough on your sinuses, rough on your allergies. But if you call Central Heating and Air Conditioning, they want you to know this is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Maintenance agreements that will keep your system running at peak efficiency, and your equipment will last longer. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. But here's the kicker. It's allergy season. They can fix what ails your house and possibly even your family's health with home ventilation, air quality products, packages designed around home health using variable speeds, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers. They can do it all. They can make your house that safe space that we were just talking about. No sneezing, no sniffling, not inside, not until you go outside. So call them today, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Atlanta Braves fans, May is Military Appreciation Month, and a great time to show your patriotism by purchasing a VIP table at the Warrior Alliance 4th Annual Veteran Impact Awards and Gala. The event will be held on Thursday, May 22nd at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater at the Battery Atlanta and features dining, live entertainment, and Georgia-based veterans being honored for the significant contributions they are making in our communities. Purchase your VIP table today or make a donation at thewarrioralliance.org.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
It's March 26th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's Epilepsy Awareness Day. This neurological condition affects nearly 50 million people worldwide, impacting the central nervous system, causing seizures and other symptoms. Epilepsy can affect anyone at any age and can be caused by brain injuries, genetics, immune disorders, infection, and in some cases, no cause can be found at all. However, epilepsy is a very treatable condition, and a range of options are available, from the use of medications to more invasive surgery procedures. So remember, wear something purple to help bring awareness to and eliminate the stigma surrounding epilepsy. Also on this date, in 1953, Dr. Jonas Salk announced he had successfully tested a vaccine to prevent polio. Clinical trials in the life-saving drug would begin the following year. And in 2020, COVID-related job loss caused a record 3.3 million Americans to file for unemployment benefits, according to the Labor Department. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. Georgia law enforcement made the biggest fentanyl bust in state history. Authorities say they found 5 kilograms of the drug at a raid in Sandy Springs, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Self-driving taxis are coming to Atlanta. Lyft is partnering with May Mobility to put a fleet of self-driving minivans on the road this summer. More than 20 illegal immigrants were detained on Monday as part of an FBI and ICE operation, and the Georgia Secretary of State's office is purging over 450,000 registrations from voter rolls. Today's weather, clear and sunny, starting in the 50s with a high of 70 and strong winds. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Oh, yeah. It is time. Neil Bortz joins the Morning Extra. Neil, what is going on? How are you this morning, sir?
Oh, plunk your magic twanger, Froggy.
I have no idea what you just said.
I know you don't because you're just a young whippersnapper. Now, how many people have ever heard that? Plunk your magic twanger, Froggy.
Los?
Hiya, kids. Hiya, hiya.
I like the cut of your jib.
You've really never heard that before?
Never.
No,
Damn.
Well, what does it mean? Give me some context, Neil. Educate
But I'm
me.
not gonna,
I Google machine everything that you bring up. This one is a little hard to follow.
Well, you tell me what it is again, say it again, so I can at least type it as you say it.
Plunk your magic twanger, Froggy.
Okay, it did pop up.
Oh, yeah, it did. Sure did. First
There
time.
you go. There you go.
Smilin' Ed McConnell and Andy Devine, Smilin' Ed's Gang and Andy's Gang television shows.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Well, you see, Froggy was kind of a terrorist back in his day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think that's if I had it to do over again, and I don't, and I wouldn't. My show would be introduced with my Huey Lewis and the News and Plunk Your Magic Twanger, Froggy. But listen, tell me what your plans are for the Tesla takedown.
Yeah, I probably will kind of go about life
I think
as
I'll
normal.
set that one out.
Yeah, I have no interest.
I've never considered buying an EV until the past couple of weeks, just out of curiosity, just to see what's going on and see what's happening in the stock market's been shocking.
Well, the only time I've considered an EV is I wonder if I could use an EV as the tow car behind the bus, and then just plug it into the bus while we're traveling. Then when we get to wherever we're going, fully charged and ready to rip.
I don't know if that's available or not, but I mean you can charge it up ahead of time and it should hold the charge. You should be good to go. Just to zip around, zippity doo dah nearby to where you are. As long as you're not going on long trips.
We'll go 12 or 15,000 miles on one of our Bortz bus trips, and it's going to lose that. We got to be able to charge it from the Bortz bus.
Yeah.
So that's the only time I've driven them, and let me tell you, the acceleration to pick up on an EV,
it's amazing.
It'll snap your neck.
It's fun. It's a fun vehicle.
Yeah, no doubt. We have one here. We've got the Ford Mach-E at Dickey Broadcasting Company that's got, the station logos all over it. It was a promotion we did with the folks at Georgia Power, I believe. But I mean, I've ridden in that a couple times, and it is amazing. And it's fine to jump around, but you can't go too terribly far on those things because you can't fill up in 5 minutes. You got to charge up for 2 hours.
There is no other word that describes what people are doing to Teslas.
Stupidity. That comes to mind.
Stupidity is one, but it's terrorism.
Yes, it's that too.
Violence for the purpose of affecting political change is terrorism. And these holier-than-thou Democrats, leftists, progs, whatever you want to call them, that are out there torching Teslas and keying them and painting them, they are domestic terrorists.
Without a doubt.
There is no denying that description. These holier-than-thou prepi is the plural of preppus, prepi.
Might as well like octopi.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
We'll take it.
Okay, these politically correct left-wing prepi out there attacking Mazdas. You can't accuse me of being a terrorist. It's only, and what they don't understand is those cars were purchased by their in large part, political fellow travelers.
There are videos all over social media, Neil, of Democrats going, look, I'm not a Trump person. I had this car way before. You've destroyed my car, and I'm on your side.
Yeah, I bought it because of climate change. And, it's a Tesla, so we're going to burn it. And Elon Musk, it doesn't cost him a penny. He doesn't own these cars. He sold them. He made his money off of those cars. And now, apparently, sales in some areas are going up because right-thinking Americans want to get the point out.
That's what Los kind of brought up.
Say, Los did what?
Well, here's the number. For when we had Tim Walz celebrating the 225 and going down, Tesla stock got up to $280. You have a larger faction, which is us, the people that actually think clearly, who are actually supporting Tesla and are starting to buy them. We had the Model 3s. I think it's like
sold out.
14 states. They're sold out in the last couple of weeks.
Well, the one of the reasons Sports hasn't purchased a Tesla, it'd be great down here in Naples because, I have a 7-year-old Mercedes down here. It's got 24,000 miles on it.
Can't hide money.
Well, you can't. Not mine. You can't. But it's got
24,000 miles in 7 years. Is pretty impressive.
So an EV would work for you.
So the mileage we put on cars down here is nothing. So an EV would work really well. By the way, I took it in for service yesterday, and for information, it is a S550 Cabriolet.
That sounds fancy.
Can I have it?
No, and it was actually made in Germany, not South Carolina.
Oh wow!
So, but at any rate, the service manager looked at it, and he went and looked at the headlights. He said, "Yep," and I knew what he was talking. He said, "Do not ever get rid of this car."
Okay.
And the headlights are actually rimmed with Swarovski crystals. Can you believe that? I am such a high flyer.
Yes, you are.
So.
Good, highfalutin and everything.
I really am. And I've only seen one other in Naples, so that just makes me hot feces.
Yes, it does, Neil. Nobody would argue with that. Goodness gracious.
Sorry.
No. I just love every now and then just the Neil Board scoreboard of, by the way, and my car has crystals.
That's right. Does your car have crystals?
I didn't know it when I bought it. Somebody had to point it out to me later. But the greatest thing is FLIR.
Like the baseball cards?
No. The
you mean
car
like the stuff you put on like your shirt at like
it has forward-looking infrared.
Oh, see, there you go, Los. FLIR.
Come on, Los.
Come on,
you turn it on at night, and the camera comes on and puts on the panel, the dashboard up there, an infrared picture of what's ahead of you on the road.
Wow!
And if there's a human walking down the road, it shows that human in red.
Okay.
You have the Predator of cars.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just sees infrared.
Well, it's a very flawed system. Let me tell you, Mercedes needs to work on, but it shows the human in red, and you will see it on that screen way before you'll see it in the headlights in the dark.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. But you know what? It won't show a dog.
Well, look, that's got to get fixed.
No, they've rigged the computers, so it's got to be a biped. If it's a panther, if it's a dog, if it's a bear, it won't show it.
Okay.
And I don't, there are some humans I'd rather hit than a panther or a dog.
Yes, that's right.
And so come on, Mercedes,
do better.
Do better. I want to see animals too.
Yes, I'm with you. But I don't want to hit no animals.
They'll put crystals on your car, but they won't let you see animals.
See, dirtbags.
I know it.
What did I pay for?
I mean, these people are low down.
Those blivets.
Yeah.
That's another word for you to look up.
Yeah, I'll have to live in. Right.
BLIVIT.
Okay.
Don't worry, I have it right here.
What does it mean, Los?
No, it's not. There. Let's see.
Maybe it's
unknown. Seems to have been coined by American soldiers in World War II. Anything over full.
Okay.
No.
An item of unknown purpose.
Well, Los,
often unnecessary, useless, or annoying.
No.
Neil is.
That's what I got for Blivet.
Well, that's not correct. Apparently, Neil, what is it? Tell us. Are you sure you know?
Yeah. Well.
Well, Neil, what it means is an item of unknown purpose or often unnecessary, useless, or annoying, which that's like our entire sales staff.
Yeah. By the way, how's Mr. Mohawk doing back there?
He's doing great. He's struggling through the next 4 years.
Yeah, he's fine. He's upset.
I wonder how much he could sell if he looked normal.
Probably more. It's just my guess.
He's a good dude, though.
Yes, he is. He does have a good heart. You just don't want to talk politics because he gets all sideways.
Well, I don't know what you were talking about Boston this morning, but how about Jasmine Crockett? She deserves some of your attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a woman that was educated in private schools and then turns on the ghetto to be accepted. I'm not exactly sure why.
Well, she's talking about Democrats have to start punching.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Punching is a word that you could use. Well, I'm not talking about violence, but hell yes, she's talking about violence.
Yes, right.
She had Democrats, like Ted Cruz, has to be knocked over the head.
Yeah.
We need to deliver a striking blow. This is another Democrat that is using not so very well coded language to call for violence against Republicans, because obviously the ballot box didn't work for them. So maybe the WWA cage would work for them. And they criticize the right for all these things, and then they go ahead and adopt them as their own and say, well, don't look at me. I don't mean the same thing. And I don't. Something bothered me about your earlier conversation today. One of you said something about, or hinted to the fact that the Democrats may never be back again.
Well, they just said if we want to get back, if we're able to get back, we want to strip away any voting restrictions. That way we'll always stay in power forever and ever. Amen.
Well, there's been other times, for instance, when Clinton took a bath in the House in the midterm elections. Well, the Democrats are done. They're cooked. They have screwed it up really good this time. They'll never be back. And lo and behold, they came back with somebody named Barack Obama. Don't ever count them out.
They'll figure it out. Yeah, sure.
No, what is going on, especially in 2010, when you look at the state houses all the way through D.C., they lost so much power in 2010, yet they were able to claw their way back. It's just, in my lifetime, I've never seen a scenario, Neil, where they have lost not only a news media that can no longer influence, they've lost the pop culture, and they have now become the weird kids in the room. They've always been like, oh, the Democrats, they're the rock stars. They'll figure it on
Hollywood
out. The old curmudgeons on the Republican side, they're the old people.
Well,
no, it's totally flipped.
I still think they're going to figure it out.
Yeah,
they will.
I think they will too.
Well, okay,
they will be back, and as Yamamoto said after Pearl Harbor, they will be filled with a terrible resolve. They're going to do everything they can to make sure this never happens to them again. And I'm so afraid that the American right, the conservatives, the patriots, whatever you want to call them, they're not going to be prepared for that, and they're not going to be ready with a good response. I'm very concerned about the midterm elections.
Well, if you want to steal your soul here, it only took them 55 days for them to become violent and burning stuff down this time. Last time it took 4 years.
But
if you want an example of why these people should never be in power, I think Boston and everywhere else is a really good example of when left to their own devices, they ruin society.
Okay, what happened in Boston? You were talking about that when I logged on.
We were talking about what's going on with their mayor, and the amount, now that we're actually finding specific stories of child sex predators and people that are there illegally, and Boston has basically made the point they are not going to comply with ICE, and they've been turning loose people that have actually been accused of raping children, and basically said, okay, you're going to spend your 48 hours in jail, and then we're going to send you on your way, and ICE will not get any sort of information on them.
Well, New York is upset. New York City is upset right now because some of these people that were given their one-way flight to El Salvador 10 days ago, whenever it was, were actually New York residents. And they're trying to figure out, how the hell did they come into our city and arrest those people? They're not supposed to do that. We're a sanctuary city. Listen, it doesn't mean that we can't come in there and find them on our own. And that goes for Boston as well.
That's right.
Okay, about Stacey Abrams.
She's going to lose a foot.
She's going to lose a foot.
Oh, she's going to lose more than that. Every time I see a corpulent American, I just want to say, you know what? You're going to die.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
You're going to die early. You're so damn fat and unhealthy, and don't tell me you're curvy, but you're on the way out. If you want to be around and enjoy this life a little longer, lose some damn weight.
Corpulent is a very good word for fat.
Someday I'll talk to you about the copulating corpulent couple in the Wave Runner back in the mangroves.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. Maybe
it draws a picture.
Yeah. That's right.
I saw him first, and then Hannity happened on him.
Oh, no. Neil Bortz is the talk master. Neil,
it's in my books.
Thank you for your time, man. We love you, buddy.
Be good.
All right. 6 o'clock hour is brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Tug and Los until 10. I want Trump to make Planned Parenthood exist without my tax dollars. Now's the time to do it. Talk about that next on Extra 1063.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. The Atlanta Hawks dropped their game in Houston last night to the Rockets 121-114. Trae Young and Dyson Daniels each scored 19 in the game. The Hawks are off tonight. They will travel to Miami to play the Heat on Thursday. From the NFL, the New York Giants have agreed to a one-year deal with Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson. The former Seahawk played in Pittsburgh last season after spending time with the Denver Broncos. Receiver Stephon Diggs, he has a new team. He signs a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. That deal is worth $69 million. And the Atlanta Braves will open up their season beginning tomorrow in San Diego against the Padres. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the opener of the season. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Compact outside, the all-electric, all-wheel drive EQB 300 4MATIC SUV is big on space, style, and smart ideas. With available seating for 7, a digital voice assistant, and MB navigation with electric intelligence, the EQB is born from a forward-thinking family and built for yours. Get an exceptional offer on the all-electric 2024 EQB 300 4MATIC SUV. Just $399 per month for 36 months with $51.93 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the RBM of Atlanta's Spring Sales event. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through March 31st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
This is House Call for Health. What we eat gets a lot of attention, but what about how fast we eat? One health expert says devouring a meal in 20 minutes or less is too fast and may lead to some health issues. Leslie Heinberg, a scientist at the Center for Behavioral Health at the Cleveland Clinic, says it takes 20 minutes for the stomach to tell the brain it's full. She says when a person eats quickly, they may miss the signs and overeat. Heinberg adds that people who eat fast may swallow more air, resulting in bloating or indigestion. She also says not chewing food properly can decrease the amount of nutrients you get from a meal. To slow down eating, Heinberg suggests people should avoid watching TV or browsing on their phone during meals. Other tips to slow down your eating pace include using your non-dominant hand to eat, using utensils you don't normally use, like chopsticks, and taking deliberate breaks to drink some water. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. House Republicans excoriated Democrats when they ran the House for permitting remote voting during the pandemic. Lawmakers could literally call in their vote on a bill, amendment, resolution, or motion and have a colleague cast their ballot for them in Washington. This was to accommodate social distancing. Woody Allen famously decreed that 90% of success in life is just showing up. Fast forward to the present. A bipartisan coalition of Democrats and Republicans have the votes to execute a rare parliamentary maneuver and go over the head of House Speaker Mike Johnson to allow a form of remote voting. It would be for members who are expectant mothers, those who just gave birth, or the spouse of a woman who just gave birth. Those who qualify could vote remotely for 3 months. Republican Anna Paulina Luna of Florida is the main sponsor of the plan, but Johnson opposes remote voting. Quote, I'm afraid the whole thing is unconstitutional, so I've tried to discuss this with Anna, and she's pretty stubborn about it, said Johnson. But Democrats note that Johnson voted remotely 39 times during the pandemic. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Have you left the left? Call in and tell us why at 404-741-1230. Now back to the Morning Extra with Tug and Los.
We've seen so many people walk away from the left. I mean, social media is littered with it, and I understand why. So if you are one of those people that are joining us on the Morning Extra, and you're like, man, I've had it with these fools. I'm doing something different. Then yeah, call us and let us know, because we see it on social media. I would love to have a local perspective from that if you've done that yourself.
Come join Tug's cult.
That's right. Let me tell you.
It all starts like really constructive, and then it all goes the same way as every cult does.
Right. It devolves into death and destruction.
Well,
I mean, I'm not there yet.
A lot of sex.
Well, yes, of course.
Everybody suddenly has to be sleeping with Tug.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what Tug wants in his cult.
Isn't that what they did? Wasn't that the David Koresh model?
Yeah, the Branch Davidians and everybody else. It all goes the same way.
Yeah, they all end up that way. All comes down to that good loving.
Tug's cult is it starts off like real strong. Hey, do you have a problem with your political party? And then before you know it,
then we're all intimately knowing each other.
Yeah, good times before that Kool-Aid.
That's right. Then there's 14 Tugs in the world.
Then the Kool-Aid comes out, and it's south from there. But anyway, you don't have to join my cult necessarily, but if you want to, you can. 404-741-1230 is the number. I am tired of paying for Planned Parenthood. There's a list of things that I'm tired of paying for as a taxpayer. And I bet you are too. NPR, PBS. And I like some PBS programming. That's the other thing, Los. Some of it is great. Like Ken Burns, I think he's
short-lived as a documentarian.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't agree
with his politics,
with his end of what he's covering, it's still well done.
That's so incredible. Baseball that he's done a good job on. Country music he did a great job on.
I did Prohibition.
Yeah.
Like years ago, and I enjoyed it.
He's got a new one, U.S. The Revolutionary War, that's coming out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's I think this fall it's coming out.
Yeah, because Ken Burns' Civil War is so as good as it gets.
You have to weed through. You can see where the politics go, though. You have to weed through that a little bit.
In there.
It's not overwhelming. It's not overpowering. So you can look past it a little bit, but you know what happens. So I still think it's good enough. His stuff is good enough. It could stand on its own. It could. It didn't matter where he did that. So I don't need to pay for his brilliance. Do I enjoy it? Sure, but I don't want to pay for it, and I don't want you to have to pay for it. The next thing I want to defund is Planned Parenthood, because I don't want to be paying for abortions at all.
Yeah, we're now going down this road, and this is Donald Trump and his political capital, as I'm pointing it out there. If he tried to do this 2 years, maybe 3 years from now, might get some more blowback. As of now, your Trump administration plans to freeze family planning grants. That is the exclusive in the Wall Street Journal. That's not exactly how it goes. But the idea being that whatever money you take away from Planned Parenthood that you do not allow them to get, you now put it on them. Well, why don't y'all find a way to exist on your own?
Just pay for it yourself.
Just do it on your own.
Yeah. Like Ken Burns could. I mean, and there's so many. There's a Christian family planning organization that's based in Johns Creek, a beacon of hope, and I've done fundraisers on their behalf. It started out of the church I go to, and have been for, I think we've been there 15 years at least.
Snake handling?
Yes, all the time, every
all the
weekend.
Serpents that will not bite you.
That's right. And I'm talking deadly ones they bring in. It's
big
great.
old rattlesnakes and stuff.
Absolutely. Cobras, whatever you get your hands on. No, but seriously though, there's this great, it's a wonderful organization that started out of our church, like I said, called the Beacon of Hope. Guess what they do? They survive on their own. They work.
They manage their own finances.
Right. And they're basically Planned Parenthood minus the abortion part, right? That's the only difference. They take care of mamas and babies. They take care of women who are in bad situations. I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful things that happen in that organization. Jeff Foxworthy has done stand-up routines for them to raise money because he believes in them. There's so many people that contribute and help out, and they do it on their own. Why can't Planned Parenthood do that? Why do I need to pay for something that I find abhorrent? I can't.
Well, that's the model, isn't it? Is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought about this the other day. We were joking around about what goes on with the United States Postal Service, and I had just actually that morning ran over to UPS to drop off an item where I was like, I can't use it. I'm just going to send it on back. Within about 2 hours on my Alexa unit, which is staring at me, it actually points out, here's your refund, it's already in process. I was like, wow, what efficiency. This is so nice. It's not weird to ask that the government can also provide that efficiency, but also stand up on its own. Yeah. Especially when it's an organization where they're loosely affiliated with the U.S. government, and yet, because of the funding, suddenly they're tied together, and if you get rid of the funding, they have to figure out how to do it on their own.
And they can. They can. I mean, there's all kinds of millionaires and billionaires that support that point of view. I do not. I don't want to pay for it, and I shouldn't be forced to. You shouldn't be forced to. No one should be forced to. Let them stand on their own 2 feet. If they are a necessity, it's just like any other business. If it's of value, it'll last.
Yeah, there'll always be customers that'll find their way over to it.
You don't need me. You don't need my money. Now, do you want it? I'm sure you do. Who doesn't want a paycheck coming in knowing that you got that safety net? But nobody else has that safety net. It's time to pull that safety net from Planned Parenthood specifically, and then shortly after, NPR and PBS, and all, just like they did Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia, all those. Like I don't feel like we need to. You know what? I may be even in favor of Radio Free Europe over the rest of those clowns.
I like the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Just blasting in. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. I think Donald Trump knows that now's the time. And he's not afraid to use the political capital. He's proven that.
No, there's yet to be a burn point. There's yet to be that moment where suddenly people go, ooh, POTUS did the wrong thing. Right now, you're, 59 days in? And everything he's done has been feelingly scripted to the point to take advantage to create maximum political capital.
And has done well with it. The only stumble that's turned into a nothing burger is the whole signal thing, which... It was so funny to see some of those DC swamp people talking about using Signal, and then it was pointed out, this started under Joe Biden.
Whoops.
It was installed on my computer when I came in because Joe Biden approved it for everybody to use. So back off with your righteousness.
You're gonna love it,
Jack.
You're gonna love it, Jack.
Signal's the best. It's great, But anyway, it is time, and I'm thinking Donald Trump will get it done. I'm hoping Donald Trump will get it done, and he definitely has the political.
Well, there's always going to be the questions as far as what portion of Planned Parenthood are you going after, and if you try and make it into, well, here's preventative care. Understand, Planned Parenthood, when it comes to the percentages, it's overwhelmingly an organization built on make abortions. Make abortions happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what happens if that changes and suddenly, all right, it's closer to 50-50?
I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay for it. I don't care if it's 50-50.
I'm at the point now where I think it's going to be very hard to get away from it, but if you were ever going to be able to do it, now's the time.
But we've noticed, too, since their abortions have gone down, the amount of abortions that they're able to do, they're shifting toward trans ideology. And we've seen that in the last probably year or so where some of that shift has taken place, some of that shift has happened, and they're like, hey, now let's focus on that because that's a moneymaker. Well, and the other gross thing about it is now that we found out that Planned Parenthood sells some of the body parts for
organ
research,
sales, which was really gross. Really gruesome.
So gruesome, so gross. I just don't want any part of it. I don't want a penny of mine going toward that.
Did you look up the numbers on how much they receive from the federal government each year?
You got it in front of you?
About $550 million.
No, thank you. That's a USAID kind of number. No, thank you. Time to move on from that. All right, when we continue, Jasmine Crockett is so low down. She keeps showing us who she is, this time at a human rights campaign event. Talk to you about that after a Fox News update. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
Life is unpredictable, but when trouble comes, you need a team you can trust. At Ace Second Chance Bail Bonds, we've been helping families for nearly 20 years, providing fast, professional, and discreet service. With 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham, we're available 24/7 to get your loved one home, quick and with care. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT, that's 404-BAIL-OUT, or visit atlbail.com today.
Don't miss the Braves home opener at Truist Park April 4th through the 10th when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy some fun during the week, including Braves Walk on April 4th, where fans can line the streets of the Battery Atlanta as the team parades down the street and into the ballpark, welcoming in the 2025 season. And of course, the Braves are back with some iconic giveaways and ticket packages like the Chris Sale's Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta Airlines on April 9th. And brand new to the lineup this year, the Hello Kitty ticket package on April 10th, which includes an exclusive Braves and Hello Kitty co-branded light-up figurine. Plus, don't miss the first Kids Club Day on Sunday, April 6th, where the first 3,000 kids will receive a Chris Sale Triple Crown to wear. Some great seats still remain, and it's the perfect way to spend your spring break. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and freebies during the opening homestand and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve. But one who genuinely cares about each player.
You have what it takes. We got this.
Can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
It's yet another order likely challenged in court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump might get pushback from states to his new executive order requiring them to get proof of citizenship for voters in federal elections and requiring them to only count ballots received by Election Day.
We got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections.
The president, who's controversially claimed the 2020 election he lost was rigged, is threatening to pull federal funding from states that do not comply. And another executive order he signed dates back to the 2016 election.
So President Trump is directing the FBI to immediately declassify and release all files related to the Russia investigation. So the FBI opened Crossfire Hurricane in July 2016 over allegations that the Trump campaign was colluding with Russian officials to influence the 2016 election. Now, this investigation was picked up by then special counsel Robert Mueller in 2017. But after 2 years of investigating, he did not find any evidence against President Trump or his campaign.
That's Fox's Brooke Singman. President Trump standing by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who's taken responsibility for mistakenly inviting a journalist into a group chat discussing military action against Houthi militants in Yemen.
This was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different.
Now, Waltz says he's trying to figure out still how he got Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg's number into the group chat on Signal. Democrats want a full investigation. Senator John Ossoff said to the directors of national intelligence and the CIA at an intel hearing,
"This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of the gravity of this error."
Now, this morning, House Democrats get to question Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe about the security breach. While we await an appeals court ruling on controversial deportation flights a federal judge tried to stop, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will go today to El Salvador to visit the jail now housing the alleged Venezuelan gang members removed from the U.S. America's listening to Fox News.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money? A bigger house? Maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How you wake up each day? How you sleep? What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So if pain is affecting your life, see how Relief Factor can help. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, it doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or even eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So give their 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call, 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're hurting, in 3 weeks or even days, Relief Factor can give you a chance to rediscover the true meaning of living better again. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Yeah, I got your app. I'm so glad Conservative Talk is back on the air.
Tug and Los on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. We're on here until 10. After that, back Clay and Buck, and then the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. And everybody's listening to our show, and we appreciate it. Numbers came out the other day, look really, really great. Same way with the Kimmer show. We expected Clay and Buck, the biggest show in all of conservative media, to do well. They did. Same with Beck. It's just a good day to be a conservative. It's a good day to be a part of Extra 106.3, and we're so glad that you are.
Normally, you have to be the party that's out of power in order to secure these sort of numbers. This is where I believe everyone is enjoying the daily wins and what is going on. And you show up on a regular basis to hear, how did we win today?
That's right.
And so that has always been our point. Now that, obviously the party that we want to see is in power, the people we want to see are in power, it is about now, let's talk about the wins and let's hopefully project what the next several ones are going to be.
Yeah, I think it is easy when the Democrats roll out people like Jasmine Crockett. That's when I know we're going to get a win, because she's going to set herself up for failure, and it's going to benefit our side. I love what Scott Jennings over at CNN said. I hate there's another. I hate the fact that he's on CNN. I hate that they get good content from a really, really smart man. But I'm glad to be able to hear him and see him.
I just like that he's the adult in the room.
Yeah.
And he treats everyone else like they're like 4 children. And they're all in like whataboutism. Oh, what about? What about? And Scott Jennings just slowly but surely ends up taking exactly what they said and points it back out to them. Remember when you said this 30 seconds ago?
Here's the mirror.
And then they get really upset.
They do. I love his quote. He said, I don't know how the Democrats came to the point where Jasmine Crockett is the unquestioned leader of your party, but thank God. And I think she should do what she should do is go on TV twice as much as she is right now.
Be so successful.
Maybe 3 times as much. She was at Human Rights Campaign, which is a leftist organization. I mean, I don't think they care much about human rights. I think they care about the things that go against what the United States stands for. But she was speaking there, and she had a derogatory term for the governor of Texas. Now, I'm not offended by it at all, and I'm not going to point out that if this was a Republican, it would be crazy.
There's just a way to go about this.
They would be broken. Yeah.
If you want to crack on somebody, that is fair game in this political climate.
Absolutely.
If you want to say that Greg Abbott has done a foolish job,
terrible governor,
by all means, go at it. Whatever you want to say. But she went for lowest common denominator, lowest hanging fruit in the one area that even her people would be offended by.
We in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey.
So
if you do not know, so Greg Abbott, when he was jogging when he was 26 years old, had a freaky situation where a tree ended up snapping along his route, fell on him, basically cracked several vertebrae and injured him, and he has not walked since he was 26 years old.
Yeah,
he's in a wheelchair.
That's right. So Governor Hot Wheels, as she calls him, it's just her showing her true colors, who she is, what she's all about, where she derives humor from, the things that she sees as a cut down. How do I make him less than human? And the crazy thing is, the organization she was speaking in front of was called Human Rights Campaign. Seems like they would condemn maybe that conversation, that language, but I guess not, because they're a leftist outlet too, so I'm not surprised. But you did hear the groans. I think Scott Jennings is right. Put her out there more, because that is going to benefit you and I. Her being out there, her being the de facto leader in the Democrat Party.
Well, the more she talks, right now we do have Donald Trump at the most successful, most favorable, most well-liked. It is almost as if we are now in this weird counterculture where rooting for Donald Trump and being on his side is the popular thing within the counterculture.
That's right.
That's what it comes down to. And so when Jasmine Crockett, who ends up being the one that the left is pushing, is like, well, she'll fight fire with fire.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in the same boat, baby girl. It's like people do not know you well enough. You're not president. You're not an ex-president. This is going to be much more difficult for you to do.
And if you notice that this time around, Donald Trump is a little more careful with his words. He still says the same things, but he's a little more deliberate in his statements. He doesn't fly off the handle. He's not name-calling people on Twitter. He saw that wasn't popular. He learned from that. Did it bother me? No, not necessarily. But did it bother some people? Yes, it did, including supporters of his. So he has reined it in. He learned. The beauty is she has no idea that she's being so off-putting. She thinks she's being funny. She thinks she's scoring political points. And she's doing the exact opposite.
Oh, it's working perfectly. And when you start off by talking about Donald Trump, the biggest difference in my mind is that it almost felt like he responded to everything last time around.
Yeah, that's right.
Now it's, you're going to let that one go.
I don't need to respond to you.
I don't need to.
I'm in a position of winning. Yes. You're not. I will respond to the things that I feel like need a response, and the rest, I'm going to let go because I don't care enough.
If need be, if necessary, I will respond to it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to respond to everything all the time.
That's right. Yeah, that was a learning curve, and he's done really well with it. It's almost like the signal thing. And he came out, said it was a mistake, done, over with.
And by the way, depending on what you're running for, depending on your status, will allow you to say the certain things that you want to say. For instance, when I talk about Daddy's going to own Stacey Abrams' foot, all right? When they cut it off for diabetes, I'm going to be able to, I'll make a move. I'm going to see if I can have Stacey Abrams' foot. All right,
that's a little gross.
That's offensive. That's gross. Oh my God, I can't believe you would ever say that. Well, I'm also not a sitting member of Congress, and I'm not POTUS either.
Right, yeah.
So when I go down that road with that sort of comedy, you might be like, that is really offensive. Well, I'm not calling a man in a wheelchair Governor Hot Wheels.
Yeah, exactly. You got some sort of standards.
Stacey Abrams could, eat a little better, do a little exercise.
I'm going to get that foot.
Could she?
He can't stand up out of that wheelchair.
Could she, though? Because I don't know that she could.
Well,
I think physically, could she? Yes. Will she? Definitely not.
That's it. Willpower.
The willpower's not there. I think Jasmine Crockett is a treasure that we should let her be on display like she's the jewel of the Nile, man. Like she's the Mona Lisa. Well, put a spotlight on her. That way we keep winning because she's doing nothing but help us.
So you've pointed this out before. She went to some of the best private schools that could be found in the Midwest. I mean, she was groomed early on to here's how you're going to sound, here's what you're going to go ahead and do. So at this point, she's cosplaying loud, crazy black woman.
Yep.
I mean, she's emulating this. Now, I want you to take a listen to this. This is a piece of audio where you're going to hear her. This is when she was elected first to Congress. I want you to take a listen to what Jasmine Crockett sounded like when she was first in office.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Listen, he up there, he's hearing all kinds of nonsense and bull. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that. We wouldn't, But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire.
Listen to the differences,
and you're the one that I believe should take my seat. I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that. If anyone knows anything about the Congresswoman, they know. We showed up, and if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure. We got some cool shirts. The congressional seat is over 4 times as large.
Distinct.
Thank you.
In the difference in the
she's
two.
cosplaying angry black woman, and here's the problem. Here's where the rubber meets the road on this one. It's black women that are the first to point it out. They're like, she's full of it.
Yeah, that's not real.
It's like, it's not real.
It's not really who you are, and you're going to continue playing this. And then, with the slanderous statement about Governor Abbott, you would think that somebody on the left would be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. Let's see if we can keep ourselves out of the ditch, because we're losing so incredibly bad right now. I mean, you have James Carville talking about how bad the Democrats are. You have all sorts of Bill Maher, another leftist commentator, that is a guy that, like, the Democrats are listless. And this is who they're going to put in the captain's seat. The woman that's playing a role, that's playing a character.
The one who is saying, I was pretty much anonymous when I was the person who was sitting out of Dallas County and a portion of Tarrant County. What if I play this character? Maybe this will give me some national cred.
And it has. Like, to her credit, it's given her the credibility, or the credit, the attention that she wanted and that she's longed for. It's just not that good attention. You know what I mean? It's like when a kid is acting out. They don't get enough attention for their parents. Whatever the reason, whatever the cause for them to act out, they're doing that to get the attention, and she falls into that category. It's like it's a tale old as time.
Well, the biggest problem that the Democrats have right now, outside of being way out of touch, is that whenever they march any of their very powerful people, the response is, wow, y'all's old. Yeah. That's the first thing everyone goes to. So Jasmine Crockett represents, here's the future of the party. The problem is she's playing a role.
Right. And it's so see-through. People realize that it's not authentic. And when they do, when you see something that's not authentic, what do? You don't partake in it. You don't, like, if you go to a restaurant, let's say you go to a nice Mexican restaurant and they're serving you, I don't know, microwavable taquitos.
Oh, I'm going to know quick.
Yeah, for sure.
I grew up in San Antonio where Mexican food's everywhere.
I grew up in Dalton, Georgia, where some of the best Mexican restaurants I've ever eaten at my whole life are. So when I get authentic food, I know it. I recognize it. And when I see it being microwaved, I'm like, I don't know if I want it. But I could have got that at the QT. Why would I come and pay more?
No, don't hate on the roller food.
No, I love roller food, but you can't tell me there's not a difference in roller food and authentic, good, delicious Mexican food.
So this goes a little bit off the rails. I was, when I went over to QT to grab my big old 24 ounce, there was a guy who was picking his stuff off the roller food, and I just thought to myself, I'm going to get that foot.
At some point, yours and Stacy's, I'm going to have them in a case so people can see them with spotlights on them like it's a World Series ring.
I'm going to get all them feet.
Like it's a
Jasmine Crockett is not planning on collecting feet.
No, she's not. But she is trying to collect as much attention and power as she possibly can. She's getting the attention, the power. Let's see if she gets that, because nobody is going to respond to this woman in a positive way. Nobody's going, yep, that's who I'm going to follow into war.
She's just playing a character.
That's right.
Like, if I was to say, okay, what do you know about her? And if you were to take just the last 3 months worth of audio, you'd be like, whoa, okay, here's how she is. All right, take 3 years beforehand.
Yeah, that's right.
Play that one and then tell me who this person is.
That's exactly right. And then that's the thing that I think that's also refreshing about Donald Trump, getting back to him for just a second, this time around versus the first time. I think if this signal hiccup, speed bump would have happened in the first term, he would have melted down. I think he would have had probably a stronger reaction to it, because he knew that the mainstream media was going to come down on him. He knew there was going to be backlash, and he knew they were going to come at him with guns ablazing. Now they've lost their teeth. They've lost their influence. No one listens to them, and he knows that. And being more reserved this time, he's like, mistake.
Yeah. It is different how this has worked, that the more calm he is, the less they really have.
That's exactly right, dude.
But when he does talk...
Don't give him the ammunition.
He can pull out... We used to refer to it when we were working in Dallas. Bill Parcells would call it the needle. And he talked about when his time with the Jets, with the Patriots, with the Cowboys, with the Giants, how every now and then you pull out the needle just to give guys a little bit of a poke to think about something. And that's, I feel, the way he's going about it. It said he will have a press conference, and 95% of it's pretty regular. 5% is a needle.
Yeah, whatever he needs to get across.
Just plug something in there. Just going to let you know. Here's what's going on.
Great.
Whereas Jasmine Crockett's all needle.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all she's got.
It's just open fire. Shoot everything, as many bullets as you can fire at it. But to that point, when he was asked about Europe freeloading, because everything that came out in that signal message, he stands behind. And so do I. I love the fact that there was so much robust debate. That was the peek behind the curtain that I loved seeing. That J.D. Vance is like, hey, here's why I think maybe this is not a good idea. And Stephen Miller said, hey, it's already been decided. We're going forward with it. I love that robust debate. I love the fact that there are different voices and different opinions, and they're not shot down. They're listened to, and they come up with the best decision. Maybe J.D. Vance was like, I still don't think it's a great idea, but if that's the way we're going, we're all rowing in the same direction. I love that happens. That didn't happen in the Biden administration.
No, the benefit was it was not a bunch of yes men.
That's right.
To Donald Trump, it was, let's talk about this and let's offer the best advice we can to POTUS.
And what have they described Donald Trump as? An authoritarian, a ruler.
Oh, he makes his mind up, and that's it.
And nobody can question, nobody can get out of line. He only hires people that are yes men. What did that prove to you? That signal exchange that was an accident, that was sloppy, that will get corrected. What did that show you? The exact opposite of what the mainstream media has told you about him since the first time he came down that escalator.
Yeah, they made the decision, here's what we're doing. But there was a robust discussion that was going on as to whether it should happen.
I love the fact when they asked him, J.D. Vance said Europe was freeloading. What do you think? Do you really want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Yes, they're freeloading. Period. He didn't roll over on J.D. Vance. He was put on the spot, and he said, JD's exactly right. They are freeloading, and I'm tired of it.
He made the points as to why. Here's what they've done in trade.
And I love it. It's exactly what I want out of the president. When we continue on Extra 106.3, watch out, commies. Trump is at his most popular right now. Next on Extra 106.3, we'll get you the headlines, too.
Finally, a president that will fight for American values.
The American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
And finally, an Atlanta news station that covers it the right way. Extra 106.3 isn't about traffic and weather. We care about the stories that matter most to you, your family, and your community. Get traffic and weather on your phone and get Atlanta's only conservative conversation right here on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and an event they have coming up next month. In fact, we are 30 days out. Plan accordingly. Get the grills fired up and ready to cook. Next month on April 26th, Howard Brothers will be hosting their second annual First Responders Cook-Off at their Lula store. That is going to be located at 4336 Cornelia Highway in Lula, Georgia. It's time to celebrate the heroes who keep our community safe and see some friendly competition between the first responders teams that are going to be participating. Enjoy some family fun and delicious food samples while you visit. The grills will be going. They'll be cooking. You'll be able to try a bunch of stuff. Don't miss the showdown. Again, starting on April 26th, 9 a.m. start time that Saturday at Howard Brothers in Lula.
HGI Wealth Advisors is your financial defense partner, preparing you for the unexpected when the inevitable happens in life. Our tailored strategies empower families to build wealth, generate infinite income, and mitigate taxes, fees, and penalties. At HGI Wealth Advisors, we help you transfer wealth while creating an everlasting legacy. Our goal is to ensure you meet your financial needs today, tomorrow, and into retirement. Our experienced team is committed to ensuring your legacy endures for generations to come. Learn more at hgiwealthadvisors.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. You want to jump into spring and not worry about your home? Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day. The Trusted Toolbox.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggy. She's a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy at atlantasmiles.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine.
And I'm Josh Brooks with Southern Rodeo Company. We've teamed up with Vice Rodeo Productions to bring an exciting first-in-class rodeo to Cobb.
This family-friendly event has it all: food, games, novelties, and shopping. Cheer on the athletes of the International Professional Rodeo Association and witness some of the best bucking horses and bulls in the industry.
Join us for a fun, fast-paced, action-packed event featuring top cowboys and cowgirls from the United States and Canada. With paved parking, indoor restrooms, and covered seating, it's a great experience for everyone. The rodeo will be held at Jim R. Miller Park on April 4th and 5th. Get your tickets online at rodeotickets.com. Buy early. It's going to be a sold-out crowd.
Thanks, Josh. We appreciate Cobb County Pro Rodeo for choosing Our Town Monthly to promote the rodeo, and we look forward to seeing you there. And remember, our town is your town. Our Town Monthly.
Hey, this is Tom from The Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed. Honesty is the best policy, and we guarantee it. Finally, a pre-owned car and truck buying process that you can trust.
Get an honest car buy from The Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. Georgia law enforcement made the biggest fentanyl bust in state history. Authorities say they found 5 kilograms of the drug at a raid in Sandy Springs, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Self-driving taxis are coming to Atlanta. Lyft is partnering with May Mobility to put a fleet of self-driving minivans on the road this summer. More than 20 illegal immigrants were detained on Monday as part of an FBI and ICE operation, and the Georgia Secretary of State's office is purging over 450,000 registrations from voter rolls. Today's weather, clear and sunny starting in the 50s with a high of 70 and strong winds. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Maybe something you don't know. I don't know if we talked about it before. I can't remember. I just know that Los was laid down on the couch earlier.
Yes, I did.
In the studio, and he was trying to get his, was it shoulder or neck?
No, that was, okay, so that was lower back.
Okay.
And what I do is I do the leg over, but you have to be in a position where, for me, where gravity does its work.
Yeah.
So it has to be like on a couch so that whichever leg that goes over is hanging off the couch.
Yeah.
And that's the point where you get like the biggest pop in the lower back.
Let me tell you, that couch is probably 10, 12 feet away from me. And it sounded like he was sitting next to me. It popped so loud. I was like, "Are you okay?"
He goes,
I thought he broke the bone.
Oh.
Yeah, I was serious, man. I've never heard anything quite like it. It was the loudest pop ever.
Yes, it does pop.
Yeah, I'd never heard anything quite like it, and it was exceptional. You said your wife talks about that. Just how it sounds painful.
It'll happen in our house where she might say, like, let's say if we're just laying in bed, we're doing whatever. It's like a Sunday morning, and I will tell her, "Hey, can you hold my leg down?" As I twist and torque and something.
Bam! Goodness gracious.
I'm one of those people that I do enjoy going on YouTube and seeing different people that go through like chiropractic care, and when they have stuff that like snaps on them the first time.
Yeah.
And their body like resets, or like their eyes roll in the back of their head, and they're like, "Oh my God, what just happened to me?"
Yeah, I've gone to a chiropractor there in Alpharetta a couple times, and he knows exactly. I'll just be like, "Hey, yeah, it kind of hurts right here," and he's like,
Yeah, just hold on.
Yeah.
I will reset that for you.
And bam, done.
And I know with some people, it's like a pseudoscience. Me, I've just seen what happens. Like I remember I had I sprained a knee, of all things. I sprained a knee working out. I was hobbling around. I went in and I basically told, Dr. Kelly at the time, I was like, "Hey, listen, here's what's going on with my knee." By the time she was done with it, the next morning it felt all back to normal.
Yeah.
Because it was just dealing with inflammation is all they were doing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know some people are not into chiropractic care. And I don't go daily or monthly, but when things aren't working the way they're supposed to, a friend of mine recommended. I went, and I could tell the difference. So
I will say this: you get a lot of athletes that go because they look at the belief that their body has to be, in a perfect sense of symmetry. Like everything has to be firing the right way, and so something that gets out of alignment, something gets a little bit out of whack. That's when they feel they get hurt.
Yeah.
And so that's why you get a lot of it with football players.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely popular with them. And I know my own son, when he's home, he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, just make me an appointment over there. We're going to get aligned, get the alignment right.
Let's go fix me."
Yeah, we're going to fix me. That's exactly right, man. And especially after playing a whole season of baseball, he'll come home for a split second before he reports up to North Carolina for summer baseball, Wood Bat League. The Great North League, I think, is where he's playing this year, which is Oak Island, North Carolina, just at the bottom of the Outer Banks, which is stunning.
That's
absolutely
really cool.
Beautiful, man. I guess kids live in the dream.
Yeah, you made this happen for him. I hope that he appreciates all this.
He does, man. It's
Good.
one thing that I'm proud of him. He's always, thank you. I appreciate you taking care of this. He always shows gratitude. We didn't really give him a choice. Like, he learned gratitude just like he learned his manners. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Because my daughters are mean like snakes sometimes.
I can't imagine where they get that.
I've yet to have the conversation with my older daughter of saying, hey, that house that we're going to be closing on here in about 11, 12 days, know that we're doing this in large part for you and your sister.
Yeah.
And obviously with you as the lead child, here's the reason why we're doing it. I haven't had that conversation with her, but the next time she acts up,
they know.
This is what we're doing.
I think they know. They can't not know. I mean, they live in a loving home. They're given opportunities. Their parents work hard for those opportunities. They may not say it. They may not vocalize it. It may be a few years. Because I don't know when Jacob was their age that he did either. I think that's a relatively in the last couple years.
And boys are dumb at that age.
Yeah.
Like at 14,
yeah.
Like I remember how I'm surprised me and none of my friends got killed with some of the stuff we were doing.
No kidding. Holy cow. Me too. Because we had 4-wheelers.
Yeah. It's like, how many dumb things can we do? The girls are a little bit more mature.
Yeah, they are.
But not that much more.
But it's funny, the roles at some point reverse and go the other way. You know what I mean? It's just part of growing up.
It's like college, and suddenly they all turn into woo girls. I'm desperate to make sure that neither one of my daughters, maybe more so my younger, but at some point when they go to be woo girls, you know, the girls that are at the bar, they're like, woo! That's when, okay, dad has failed.
No, because it's going to happen a time or two, and then they'll age out.
It's like a song. It's like a siren song for Jerry. I mean, the reason why Jerry is involved with certain women is because when he heard them woo, he was like, well, here we go.
Jerry, is that what brought you to your
Those
girl?
days are all behind me. Those days are all behind me.
Look,
You were a nice young lady at home.
You're not denying that you went through them.
As a younger man, he was like, they just wooed.
I can tell you, they can woo all they want. Just keep them from hopping on the back of someone's Harley.
Yes, that's right.
Sports bike.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
Woo! Okay, I'm going to go over there, picking them up.
That's the way to do it. Donald Trump right now is at his most popular. The left, and we'll get to James Carville. He's still predicting this collapse. I mean, he's been doing it since day one, since Donald Trump was inaugurated.
He said 30 days.
The collapse is
coming.
coming.
Over with.
The collapse is coming. He's still at it. The collapse is coming. We'll get to that in just a minute because we need to set it up first by saying CNN is the people pointing out how popular Donald Trump is.
So this is Harry Enton, and this is their data analysis guy. This is the one that breaks down what is going on in all the polling to try and tell you, let's face it, a lot of CNN's emotional. They bring in Harry Enton to be okay, here's now the data to go along with this stuff.
And he's not bad, man.
No,
I don't mind seeing him.
To me, because I do follow him on X as well. He will point out what I believe to be very simple, factual information based on the data. That's it. It's not emotional. It's not Trump should go down or so-and-so is going to be great.
Here's what I see.
Here's what we have with our polling data. Here's what it says. I want you to take a listen as Harry Enton ended up breaking the hearts of CNN yesterday.
I think sometimes it's important to do a little bit of reality check and take a little different spin at the numbers. I'm going to do that right here because all we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024. What are we talking about? His net favorable rating right now comes in at -4 points. Compare that to where he was when he won in November of 2024 when he was at -7 points, or March of 2017 when he was at -10 points. So when you compare Trump against himself, he's actually closer to the apex than he is to the bottom of the trough. And of course, that's so important because Donald Trump, historically speaking, has had his numbers underestimated. So I think it's very important to compare him to himself to understand he's actually more popular now than he was when he won, or certainly where he was at this point back in his first term. The bottom line is Trump is more towards the ceiling than he is towards the floor.
That's got to be the part that disappoints people because whether it's the Rasmussen poll or the CNN poll, he's more popular than he's ever been. And as Harry Enton brings up, and we've seen this is a statistical fact that you cannot quantify, but you know it's a fact. There's a large portion of people that are backing Trump that do not respond to polls.
I don't respond to polls. I've never been asked about a poll.
That's why he says underestimated.
Yeah, that's right. And it's always been that way. He's right to point out it's always been that way. He's always underperformed or overperformed what the polls said he should do. Always. And he points that out. I love the fact, though, that he pointed out he's more popular now than on Election Day. He's more popular now than on Election Day. Think about that. Election Day, he swept the swing states. He won the popular vote and the Electoral College. And he's more popular now than he was on Election Day, says CNN's Harry Enton.
And that's policy.
Buddy. Holy cow. For all the James Carvilles in the world saying the bottom's going to fall out of it. Everything's about to collapse. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. He's old and angry.
Well, every president gives back ground. And typically it's based on their policy. It's just this is what's been different in this generation, the last 25 years. We have a president right now that, because of his view of nationalism, everything he's doing for the most part has a populist nature to it. It's like, how do you end up on the right side of almost every 80-20 issue or 65-35 issue? That's what he's doing. He's picking out those to keep playing in. And so it's not until you jump on the side of an unpopular issue that you give back political capital. He hasn't done that yet.
Nope. And I don't expect that he will. Because everything, all the 80-20 issues that you were talking about are all common sense issues, Los. Women and men are different. That's not a stretch. That's not something that's controversial. Everybody knows it. It's so obvious and clear. So it shouldn't damage him. It should make him more popular because most people believe that. But let's play James Carville, because why wouldn't we? He's been saying the collapse is coming since day one. He said within the first 30 days, as Los pointed out. Now he's saying, okay, wait, maybe I was wrong about that, but it's still coming.
I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, he's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse. And all we need to, the analogy I use is Pickett is 500 yards from the stone wall. Hold your fire. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
Well, it's coming in 30 days. Okay, well, I know it didn't happen, but in 6 weeks it's going to happen. It's add in that extra 15 days. Let's get that in there, and then the collapse. Don't you fret. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, listen to me. I know it's going to happen.
There's going to be some point where Donald Trump gives back ground. But to say collapse, when you are when you're playing in a nationalist pool, it makes it very difficult to have a collapse. Because you're playing into every single popular issue on the end that matters. I mean, remember, his campaign, when it came to the summer, what was the best advertisement? He's for you. She's for them.
Yep. And it's funny to hear Carville, though, because I do believe that at one point he was a really smart guy. I think he's let his emotion get the best of him. Now he just hates Donald Trump so badly that it clouds his judgment. He's the exact opposite of Harry Enton, right? Because Harry's using data, facts, and just tells you like it is. James Carville hates Trump, so he can't tell you like it is. It's not in him. He doesn't have that ability anymore. And so he's going to stand up there. It's like he's trying to will it to happen. If I say it enough, that it will eventually happen. I'll will it to happen, and that's what it feels like to me.
Well, that used to work in the past. If you could get something going in the echo chamber that was the media, that would then eventually become, it was almost like a prophecy. I'll say it, and I'll speak it into existence. That doesn't happen anymore now.
Because nobody pays attention to the mainstream media, which was their echo chamber.
And by the way, here's something else that's very beneficial to Donald Trump. And we've talked about it because at times it can be a little bit maddening. There is very little that survives a 24-hour news cycle with this administration. It's almost as if whatever you talked about on Monday, if you didn't talk about it on Monday, by Tuesday it's dead. You got to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so it makes it very hard when you catch the administration and say, "Oh, don't know if that was a good idea." That was MSNBC yesterday. Oh, look, they leaked war plans. It was a mistake. All right, now what? That's over with. It's done.
It's done.
It's done as of today.
And Donald Trump did the smartest thing by saying, yep, mistake. Gonna happen. Nobody's perfect. And we're not. We're not trying to tell you we're perfect. We're trying to tell you we're doing the best for America. And Americans believe that. I believe that. I know he wants the best for the country. As flawed as the man is, I've never doubted his love for the United States of America. And I'll fall in line behind somebody that loves the country any day of the week. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 Tug and Los. When we come back, Trump wins again. Are you tired of winning yet? I'm not. He wins again. USAID is DEAD. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. The Atlanta Hawks dropped their game in Houston last night to the Rockets 121-114. Trae Young and Dyson Daniels each scored 19 in the game. The Hawks are off tonight. They will travel to Miami to play the Heat on Thursday. From the NFL, the New York Giants have agreed to a one-year deal with Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson. The former Seahawk played in Pittsburgh last season after spending time with the Denver Broncos. Receiver Stephon Diggs, he has a new team. He signed a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. That deal is worth $69 million. And the Atlanta Braves will open up their season beginning tomorrow in San Diego against the Padres. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the opener of the season. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
My name is Patrick, and I'm the Military Outreach Manager at the Warrior Alliance. I served in the U.S. Army as an airborne ranger and deployed to several combat zones in support of the global war on terror. Veterans bring excellence through our work ethic, skills, and civic duty. However, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, as we all share a loss of purpose when leaving the military. Returning veterans have earned and deserve our support so they can thrive on their journey home. The Warrior Alliance understands the challenge and is helping warriors navigate to success after service. Join us in changing thousands of lives for the better. Donate today at thewarrioralliance.org.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services, but you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. ATLturfco.com.
Are you tired of dealing with drafty, inefficient windows? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage Entry Doors and Windows. It's time to upgrade these old windows. Replace them with double pane, beautiful, energy-efficient windows. Your new windows will help you regulate a perfect temperature throughout your house. Start saving big money on your energy bills and improve the curb appeal of your home. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to him, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Keep up with all of our shows and the latest headlines by following Extra 1063 on Instagram, X, Facebook, Truth Social, and all your social media platforms. Plus exclusive giveaways and more. So follow now at XTRA 1063.
Tug and Los on the Morning Xtra on Extra 1063. Fortune magazine wants to scare you to death, saying China's swooping in to replace USAID projects axed by Donald Trump. Like things that are happening in Cambodia, things that are happening around the world. I just don't, it doesn't matter. We can't afford those things. We don't want to waste money on those things. If they were axed for a reason, and I stand by them fully. I don't want any of that is happening. Is there a place for USAID? Maybe, but it is a very limited, and it's got to be in the scope of reality. It's got to make sense, because nothing they did up until this point that I've seen made any sense. But at the end of the day, this thing may just be dead and done for anyway.
I firmly believe what we have heard from different politicians, namely Ted Cruz has been one of the guys who's talked openly about this. So we've always known that there was frivolous spending, and we've always felt like it was probably used to attack us and to do what it was doing around the world. But it was just kind of par for the course. It wasn't until Doge set up the algorithm to be able to track down where is this money going, who's it going to, what is it being used for. And so a guy like Mike Benz, who used to work obviously in cybersecurity within the Trump administration during the first one, everything he told you ended up being correct. And so by the time that Marco Rubio ends up taking USAID apart and gets it down to 8% of its total size, you then had the ruling from another judge who was like, you can't do that. It's not going to be allowed. Until yesterday, where you had a Fourth Circuit Court judge ended up taking Judge Chuang's order, which required Doge access to much of USAID, ended up suspending it and allowed for them to take it apart as they see fit.
It's the right decision.
It's the right decision. I mean, this is part of what the executive branch is allowed to do.
And that's the speed bumps we've been telling you about. Remember we told you lawfare is all they have. They know they have no power. And the lawfare would only be a speed bump. Now that's come to fruition. I didn't hear that on CNN. I didn't even hear it on Fox News. I didn't hear it anywhere except here.
No.
It is nothing more than a speed bump.
It is nothing more than a speed bump when I brought it up, because so much of this is based, and I'm very much into the way that our country was created, the separation of powers, and whether or not those powers encroach on one another. I will flat out say, and it wasn't about the student loan forgiveness for me. When Joe Biden was talking about, here, we're going to forgive student loans, my one thing that I said from the very start was the power of the purse belongs to Congress. You can't do this as the chief executive.
And the Supreme Court agreed with you.
You can't choose to just start spending in a way that bypasses congressional authorization. That is why you have 3 co-equal, separated branches of government. But when the chief executive decides we're going to stop spending overseas, or we're going to stop spending in different areas when it comes to USAID or a lot of these different programs, that is under his purview according to the Constitution.
And I love that Fortune magazine when they're talking about those cuts to USAID and the programs like the reading program in Cambodia that I brought up, like that is one program among the thousands that were more about finding if rats can be transgender. Or like my mama said, did you know they were spending money to see if rats were gay? It's just the dumbest things in the world. Fortune magazine conveniently leaves out the wasteful spending, the fraudulent spending, the abusive spending, and zeroes in on one program that could be considered good, trying to play on your emotions. They're trying to get you to go, well, maybe we shouldn't pull back on all this spending. Maybe we should leave it the status quo. Maybe it is valuable. No, it's not. It's not.
It's not. And it's largely political in nature.
All of it is.
That you have had USAID that has basically used dollars to create propaganda around the world. And then once they recognized how effective it was turned on everyday Americans in 2016. So why not? This is part of the swamp. And if you're not spending more money, in this case, this is where the chief executive gets to say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not spending more.
To your point about Joe Biden, when he said, I don't care, I'm going to defy the Supreme Court, I'm still going to...
he kept altering.
That's exactly right.
He kept altering
just to skirt around it.
Yes, every time.
Knowing exactly what he was doing. And Donald Trump's done the exact opposite. In Trump 2.0, he's wiser and chooses his words more carefully. He makes decisions more carefully, and he said, I'm going to follow the law every time. He's been so explicit about that. We're going to follow the law, and then we're going to follow it all the way to the end and prove that we're right, just like they did with USAID.
What's been surprising to me, and this is because it's largely an ego play, we hear about what Elon Musk is doing, what Pam Bondi is doing, what Marco Rubio is doing, what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing, more than we ever hear about what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump has become kind of this secondary character of, all right, all the pawns are going to take the slings and arrows before you ever get to me. And it's working that way. It's almost made him more likable that by the time he talks, it's almost like the dad in the room who's decided, I know you've been hearing crap all day long. Now dad's talking. Here's the final verdict on how this is going to be.
This is how it's going to be. And I love that because Donald Trump 1.0, he did let his ego get in the way. And he has a huge ego. Nobody's trying to pretend he doesn't. This time he's just got it in check because he knows the importance of keeping it in check. His success relies on him keeping that in check.
I think he recognizes the power of the position now. That you don't have to be the person who's out front leading with your chin and taking all the blows from the media and from the Democrats. You could actually sit back in your fort, so to speak, and still rule and still make things happen. I know people, oh, what do you mean rule? Because what he's doing is he's deciding which direction the country is going to go. And who's taking the slings and arrows on a daily basis? It's all the subordinates. And they're fine with that. They're not running for re-election. That's what they signed up for. J.D. Vance, look, think about this. We actually had a run of memes of J.D. Vance like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And they were hilarious.
So fun.
And you know what J.D. Vance did? He posted them to his own X feed.
Because how do you combat that?
Gonna make fun of me? Let's roll with it.
But that's the thing. Embrace it.
Yes.
Don't let it be the spear in the side. Embrace it. Take their power away from them by using it, by embracing it. And everybody got a good laugh, and then it disappeared. Another thing's disappeared really quick. What was it, a couple weeks ago? We're impeaching Donald Trump. Where'd that go? Boy, that was a shot in the dark, wasn't it?
That was one of those, trial balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, not popular.
Yeah.
Because he's never been more popular ever. How do you bury yourself from a 29% approval rating to, I don't know, you want to get down to 20?
Yeah.
Here's how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep up that nonsense. But you see how quiet that has become. We're going to impeach Donald Trump. Wasn't it last week when we heard that? The week before last?
This was after the joint session of Congress.
That's right, yeah.
And this was Al Green who was like, I'm going to introduce articles of impeachment. Now, keep in mind, if they do win the House back in 2026, this is going to be like an every month basis. But
it's going to damage them, though.
Impeachment has lost its power because of what they did.
It's like the word racism. Like the word Nazi and dictator and Hitler and all that. Nobody pays attention to any of it.
If there was ever anything that the war in Ukraine, I've talked about how like the one benefit is that we've now seen what modern warfare looks like. It's a drone warfare element that we've now seen. But if there's something that is positive for Donald Trump outside of getting a ceasefire there, it's that when he said there's corruption here, we got a firsthand look at it.
The incredible amounts of corruption that go on.
When Zelensky's like, what happened to $1 billion?
Yeah.
What happened to $1 billion, dude?
That's a great question. Need you to answer it.
And it was Donald Trump who brought up the corruption in that country, and he was impeached over it.
Yes, that's right. And he turned out to be right. That's why Elon wears that hat all the time. He wore it in the cabinet meeting yesterday or the day before that said Trump was right about everything. It's the MAGA red hat. And in the same script, Trump was right about everything.
The truth is, the simple truth, Donald Trump was getting way too warm to the trail.
That's right.
And that's why they impeached him.
It's what always happens, though, Los. When you're over the target, that's when people scream the loudest. When we come back on Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10, 7 o'clock hour, brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call, vansantlaw.com. Liberal men, they live in some sort of fantasy world, and it's pretty hard to stomach as a dude. You'll have to stomach it with us next as we poke holes in it, make fun of it a little bit on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
God forbid it ever happens to you, but let's say you have a home invader. Somebody breaks into your home while you are there. It is clear they present a threat. They may kill you at the very least. They're going to take some of your precious stuff. Now, if you happen to live in normal America, here's what you may do. You get the gun out of your nightstand. You confront the home invader. You suggest that they leave. If they do not leave, you force them out of your home. If necessary, you physically remove them from your home. If they react violently and present a threat to your life, you shoot them. A lot. Normal America. But what if you live in leftist woke America? Things change. You get the gun, you use it to protect yourself, but in so doing, you face the chance of facing a criminal penalty because you acted without due process. But let's say you revert back to your old woke America ways and you force the intruder out of your home at gunpoint. Maybe you force him into your car, drive him about 100 miles away, dump him out so maybe he won't find his way back. Ruh-roh. Where's the judicial process? Did you go to a court and have a hearing to determine whether or not the home invader belonged in your home? And if not, did you get a judge's ruling that the home invader did in fact pose a threat to you, and it would be quite okay if you removed him? And in woke America, if you didn't take these necessary steps without expelling the home invader, a federal judge could then demand that you bring the home invader back into your home where he will be allowed to stay until you take the necessary judicial steps to get him out. Woke America, a wonderful place. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Don't miss the Braves opening homestand at Truist Park, April 4th through the 10th, when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy the first gate giveaway this season, featuring the Chris Sales Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta on April 9th.
2-2. Goodbye. It is a 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Chris Sale.
Make sure to grab your bobblehead and get to your seats as the Braves will celebrate Sale's 2024 accomplishments with an on-field ceremony before the game. Visit Braves.com/promos to purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
True Prep on Cobb Parkway is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. They're locally owned and operated, and you can visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
Only two things in life are certain: death and taxes. Well, now there's a third certainty. If you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, you could be saving a fortune every month by switching to Pure Talk. That's right, Pure Talk is cutting the fat from the wireless industry. For just $25 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Listen to this. The average family of 4 saves over $1,000 a year when they switch to Pure Talk. That's real money back in your pocket. And with Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch hassle-free in as little as 10 minutes. You can even keep your phone and your number. So do this. Dial pound 250 and say keyword Pure Talk to make the switch, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250 and say Pure Talk to start saving today. Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans, for Americans.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
In Yemen, that mistakenly allowed a journalist in. It'll be a big issue at a House Intel hearing into worldwide threats. The day after one in the Senate, where Democrat Mark Warner questioned Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard.
There was no classified material that was shared in that
So then,
signal
if there was no
check.
classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe will face more questions in the House about the chat they were on with National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, who still has President Trump's support, while taking responsibility for inadvertently inviting Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg into the chat. And Waltz tells Fox,
"You've got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So, of course, I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now, whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out."
Now, President Trump has signed an executive order likely to face legal challenges from some states.
Requiring proof of citizenship in federal elections. It requires government-issued proof of U.S. citizenship on voter registration forms. It also calls on states to work with federal agencies to share voter lists and to prosecute election crimes. Plus, it threatens to pull federal funding from states where election officials don't comply.
That's Fox's Brooke Singman. Another Trump executive order directs the FBI to release the files from what he's long called a witch hunt. The investigation that began in 2016 and led to a special counsel investigation into alleged Trump campaign collusion with Russia.
This was total weaponization. It's a disgrace. Should never happen in this country. But now you'll be able to see for yourselves, all declassified.
People have fled flames in North Carolina. Wildfires have prompted evacuations in Polk and Henderson counties and other blaze burns in South Carolina, but it is much worse in South Korea, where a wildfire disaster has killed 24 people. America's listening to Fox News.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money? A bigger house? Maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How you wake up each day? How you sleep? What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So if pain is affecting your life, see how Relief Factor can help. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, it doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or even eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So give their 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call, 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're hurting, in 3 weeks or even days, Relief Factor can give you a chance to rediscover the true meaning of living better again. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
It took 100 years, but finally there's a conservative voice you can trust. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Thank you for being here. Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Listen on the app. That's the best way to listen. Download that thing. Wherever you download your apps, just search for XTRA 106.3 FM Atlanta, and people are listening more and more on that app. Thank you. People are watching more and more on the YouTube channel. Thank you. Listening at 106.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., extra1063.com. So many ways to listen, and we appreciate you for doing it. This is how desperate that Canada has become. You probably saw the video that Mike Myers produced, and his jersey said never 51. You know, they're not going to be the 51st state. He and some premier from Canada filmed this thing. I just rolled my eyes and didn't think much of it. Look, he's proud to be Canadian. Good for him. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But there's a reason they're making that video. They're nervous. There's a reason that's happened. There's a reason that they're still talking about it. And I'm going to add to it something that our operations manager, Scotty Mack, told me right before the Fox News update. He was like, hey, have you noticed the new digital billboards that are paid for by the government of Canada? And I was like, no, I missed them. He said there's one on PIB coming south, and then there's one on 285 west. He saw them both this morning, and it said tariffs on Canada are just tax increases on your groceries paid for by the government of Canada. It says it. It's down at the bottom.
All right. I'm just going to point this out, and I'm going to let it be from here. I have never at any point in my life remember that Canada has had to be on the defensive or the offensive against us, where we have decided to point out, here's how you're tariffing us. We're going to do it back to you until you quit.
Right. And they're so nervous, and they're
now spending money here
to convince you,
to tell you that these tariffs are bad. We've gone through the data. If the United States wants to crush the Canadian economy, it's not difficult to do. Whereas them trying to create issues for us, it's much more limited because of the amount of imports. The amount of imports when it comes from Canada, I think it's like 2.5% of what we bring in on our total GDP. Whereas with theirs, I believe it's like 40% is what comes from America.
You're seeing these tariffs work. And even Obama economists before the election had to admit, yep, they're going to work. This is a good idea.
What's a negotiation?
Of course it is. And what more do you want? That's all you want is a fair negotiation. And so far, we've not had that. In how many years? 40 years? 50 years? We've not had fair negotiation. And Donald Trump demands it. And I want it too.
And who would have thought a narco state like Mexico, because that's what it is, but the Mexican government had more sense than the snow Mexicans to our north, who thought to themselves, well, we'll play tough guy. We'll be real big. We'll cut off gasoline and electricity to the United States. And within 5 hours, it was, just kidding. Just playing with you.
You knew it was a joke, right?
Snow Mexicans being silly.
That's right. And then they back off.
The actual Mexicans are like, no, it sounds good. Okay, let's figure this thing out. April 2nd, let's get this thing done.
Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
We're going to do whatever it takes to not have our economy completely collapsed. Now, the Canadians are still playing tough guy a little bit because they're like, okay, how do we convince Americans that the tariffs on us and us not treating the United States fairly is bad for them? How do we do this? I got an idea. Let's buy some billboards. We'll put them all over the country.
We'll do what USAID does and we'll use it against them.
Yes, exactly. We'll use their own money against them.
They just don't understand what's currently running this thing. And they don't understand the political climate and the news media climate here. We're not paying attention to, granted, if you put something on a billboard, and I will tell you, billboards do work, but it works because it causes you to have curiosity to look into it for yourself. It's not a matter any longer of, I just put this on a billboard and people say, okay, that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Like, you've got to create a sense of curiosity for people to look into things, because once they look into it for themselves, you got them hooked.
Trump's more popular than he's ever been. The tariffs are working. You're seeing them work against Venezuela. You're seeing them work against Mexico. You're seeing them work against China. As a matter of fact, China is going to stop buying oil on the black market from Venezuela because of the tariffs. Donald Trump said, if you do that, if you continue to buy oil from Venezuela, we're going to put an additional 25% tariff on everything that comes in. That would be up to 45%. And it is already shown the fruits of that labor. The Chinese are going to stop. As of, I think, April 2nd.
April 2nd.
That's when they're like, we're not doing that anymore. So you're seeing it work. Because the Chinese economy is in shambles, too. Don't be misguided about that. Their economy is so reliant on the United States. And if they don't have this market, they know they're doomed.
If there's a silver lining to globalism and the global economy, it's that we all are interconnected. Now, the United States, taken as a whole, just generally speaking, just whitewash it, has been more than comfortable with being the ass end of the donkey. Fine, we'll take it. Fine, you want to tariff this. Fine if you want to hit up our goods and services. Fine if you want to go ahead and protect your own industries. We'll just take it on the chin. That's what's changed.
Those days are over.
Those days are over. So within a globalist economy, within this globalism, you now have the United States basically saying, no, we're going to level this playing field. And as much as we talk about free markets and free trade, no, it's protected trade at this point. We are going to make sure that you cannot harm American workers and American business. That's what the idea of these tariffs are that have created them.
As my sweet, crazy Aunt Peg drives down Georgia 400 or goes on 285 West, maybe she's over on PIB South, she sees those billboards and she's going to go, see, I knew it. I knew it.
I knew it.
Donald Trump's wrong the whole time. The Canadians are right.
I'm glad that the Canadians have said this.
The overwhelming amount of Americans, the polling shows it, supports tariffs and knows that this is going to benefit the United States. And I'm just glad that the Canadians are buying billboards. That just helps the local economy. Thank you, Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you, Snow Mexicans.
We appreciate you helping out.
Snow Mexico is doing great.
That's right.
I know you're worried about April 2nd. Mexico is going like, hey, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to work with y'all. Snow Mexico is so incredibly far left. This is the reason why this stuff works.
Snow Mexico is great.
It's when you call it Gulf of America. I showed you when I put that on X.
Yeah.
And the handful of people that went nuts over like, why are you being so crazy? What are you going to do? It's like, it's drawing you off sides. When you referred to Canada as you refer to them as, it's a far left country.
Yeah.
They went from Trudeau to their next prime minister who's even more far left.
Yeah.
And all you can do is just mock them and use your economy to crush them.
Which is what Trump's doing.
And they'll capitulate.
Absolutely.
That's what they'll do.
As will everyone.
Because we're in charge.
Just like you're seeing, and this is a little off topic, but it's the same action that's happening. When Donald Trump said, NATO, we're not always going to be there to save your tail like we have because you're not doing the right thing. You're not, and the left should love this, you're not paying your fair share, and they're not, and they haven't been. Now that they know Donald Trump's not messing around, what did the leader of NATO say? Yeah, we're going to start building up our military. And he said that to Donald Trump. We're going to start doing this. And you're seeing it all over Europe. They're talking about deficit spending just to build up their own militaries. And to emphasize the point in the Signal chat that was a bump in the road at most. Now, I know MSNBC, that's all they've talked about since it happened. But you're not misled. You know that it is a nothing burger. It doesn't matter because it just reinforced what we already wanted to tell the Europeans. You better get off your ass and defend yourself because we're not going to do it for nothing anymore. And I love the fact that their action is immediate. They know they're in a bind and they have to pick themselves up because we're not picking them up anymore.
So yesterday when we put on our favorite morning show, Morning Joe, outside of ourselves, because I think we're our own favorite, but outside of our own favorite, when we put on Morning Joe, it's let's see what the other side's talking about. And all they could talk about was, hey, leaked message, leaked war plans. We're like 2 hours in, and it came up for like 3 minutes. That will tell you how much of a nothing burger. And by the time Tulsi Gabbard says there was no confidential, restricted, or otherwise information that was part of that, here's what occurred. It almost feels as if it's now on to, okay, what is the next thing that the communist globalists have to come up with in order to damage the administration because nothing's working.
The news cycle changes so quickly.
Because they're working so quickly.
Because the Trump administration is in overdrive and no one can keep up with them. I want to talk about this. It was a show that was on in Europe, and you'll notice the accents. And it was a debate about conservative men, about liberal men, and about what masculinity is all about. The conservative on the panel, he was just like, yeah, I want to protect my wife and kids. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I feel like as a man. It's my job. It's inherent. That's been my job, and it's always been the job of men to take care of the family, to defend women and children. So he brings that up. But there was a liberal man that lives in some sort of fantasy world that had to speak his mind. He said he doesn't want to have to provide for the women in his life.
I grew up thinking that my job was to provide and to protect, but I have, like so many of the young people express so eloquently, I have learned that isn't what masculinity is to me anymore. I don't want my role in society to be one where I need to provide for the women in my life. I want my masculinity to be something that contributes to society, to make sure that women can provide for themselves as equally as I can, and that they can provide for me, ideally. And I don't want to be called on to protect women in my life. I want to do everything I possibly can as a man to make sure that we live in a society that women don't have to be protected in the first place.
Okay, well, that's a fantasy land. That doesn't exist.
Okay.
In your socialist utopia, maybe in your dreams, that exists. But did you catch what he said? The thing that stood out to me like a flag waving in the sky on a beautiful sunny day is, I want women to provide for me. That's what he said.
He's looking for a sugar mama.
I guess. Los, he said, I don't want to have to provide. I don't want my masculinity. I don't have to provide for women, take care of women. I want them to provide for me. I thought I would fall out of my chair. I had to rewind it and listen to it again.
All right, if I'm trying to be with women, all right, let's just say, for instance, if I was a single man out there in Atlanta, if I wanted to make sure that I was going to have liberal women roll their eyes at me, that's the way I would do it. Because every woman out there who isn't with hairy armpits and, like hatred in her heart, there's a point where everyone wants to be appreciated.
Sure.
Men too. You just want to be appreciated for what you're doing.
That's right.
And so for him to then say, well, we'll get to a point where I don't have to provide for them, it's not provide so much as it's support. It's appreciate. I think that this whole idea of trying to say provide is like this catch-all. I like the idea that within my home, my wife and I support each other, of course, and we appreciate each other.
Same in my marriage.
And so I think that's the way we kind of go about it. And does that mean that every now and then I go get her something she needs, or she grabs me something? Yeah, fine. To him to think like, I don't have to provide for you. Okay, you're never getting laid ever again.
What about the intruder in the house? Who's going to let's set up the hypothetical. Who's going to stop the intruder coming into your home? Because I know I'm going to meet him at the front door with a gun. I know that's what's going to happen. And my wife would expect me to do that, and I will fulfill her expectations.
And on the other end of it, when I have to deal with the intruder that is, an overzealous teacher at school, sure, my wife is going to be the one to go deal with that.
See, we would go locked arm in arm. But it's the same. To your point, it's the same thing.
We're
going
still
to go
protecting our household exactly in this way that we're doing. It is a partnership. This idea that, and I don't know why this particular person thinks of it in this way, that it's this all or nothing proposition. And I don't think it's insulting to ever bring up the fact that anything that is good and worth having takes work on both ends.
Without a doubt.
But for some reason, this mentality is of like, well, I don't want to have to provide for her. Well, then
her to provide for me.
Well, then she shouldn't be providing for you either.
And it's always funny when you ask women, do you want a guy opening the door for you? Yes. We see it all the time with videos on social media that have been shared on YouTube, and it's a woman who's very liberal. She was like, I can't help it. I'm so attracted to the dude that opens the door. Why?
What am I doing?
Why am I attracted to that? Because it's natural. There is a natural instinct that you have. I would love to hear from women on this too. 404-741-1230 if you've got a point of view.
What's up, ladies?
Yeah, because we know you're listening now.
404-741-1230.
We know
the ladies channel.
Now that we know you're listening, I'd love your input. I always want your input.
Okay, so we got the numbers. We have nearly half of our audience. It's women, which is, again, for somebody who works in sports talk radio for the longest time. I spent 20 years, and all sports talk cared about was men 25 to 54. And there would be a handful of women that would listen. The fact that it is this many of you all that pay attention, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, super cool. I just am so tired.
And I will be your leader moving forward.
Take me to your leader. Thank you.
No, I just think that we talk honestly about this stuff.
I try to. I want to be the defender of my wife in every situation. And if it is her at the school board meeting and she's giving somebody down the road because something that has happened, I'm going to be standing right behind her to let her know that I support her and I'm on her side, and I will never deviate from being on her side. I don't want her to feel like she needs to provide for me like that knucklehead.
And by the way, that's not providing. Again, we talk about supporting. We talk about appreciating.
Sure.
That the idea of providing sounds like you're going out of your way to do something. Like any good relationship, you are doing these things, and it's not a matter of like, I'm keeping score. Well, she owes me.
Exactly. No,
it's not
that
how
dude's
it
keeping
is.
score.
That dude's keeping score.
I want her to provide for me.
He hasn't seen
freaking weirdo
one of those in a long time.
Freaking weirdo, dude. I just don't get it. I never will. Remember how much Presbo loved Tesla? You remember Presbo? That's what old Rush Limbaugh, God rest his soul, used to call President Barack Obama. Presbo. God, I miss that guy. Remember how much Presbo loved Tesla? My, how things have changed. Next on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3, we'll hit your headlines too. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is their website.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
All Donald Trump is doing for the new tariff plan is to make it reciprocal. If a company charges a 10% tariff on our stuff, we charge a 10% tariff on theirs.
Canada charges a 200% tariff on our dairy products.
Yeah.
But when we do it, we're the bad guy.
Yeah, right.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
True Prep on Cobb Parkway is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. They're locally owned and operated, and you can visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. And this year, the deals are bigger than ever. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon, and we are here to help couples tie the knot with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every other design in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget, or hand design the ring of their dreams with the help of our expert jewelers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. Don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed.
Get an Honest Car Buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. Georgia law enforcement made the biggest fentanyl bust in state history. Authorities say they found 5 kilograms of the drug at a raid in Sandy Springs, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Self-driving taxis are coming to Atlanta. Lyft is partnering with May Mobility to put a fleet of self-driving minivans on the road this summer. More than 20 illegal immigrants were detained on Monday as part of an FBI and ICE operation, and the Georgia Secretary of State's office is purging over 450,000 registrations from voter rolls. Today's weather, clear and sunny starting in the 50s with a high of 70 and strong winds. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Chuck and his team, one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta, been serving the metro area since 1947. They are your Atlanta carrier experts, Tug and Los until 10. Stephanie's on the phone at 404-741-1230 talking about those liberal men that are just huge eye rolls out of me. Stephanie, what do you think?
Stephanie's wildly into liberal men.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I know that about her.
So into them. I'm so excited every time I hear about those man buns.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this guy had one too. It's crazy. What you think?
Shocked. So I can take care of myself without a man, but that doesn't mean I should. And
I love that.
I think that. So I was talking to a friend of mine last week who was raised by a single mom, and we were talking about it. And he's a great dad, and he said that kids need that masculine influence.
Yeah, they do.
We need that toughness, and he said moms can give it, but it's different. We as women are designed to be the nurturing ones, the ones who have that emotional foundation. Because if you take our reproductive systems, ours are all internal. We internalize things. Then it's all on the outside, and our attitudes and our character reflect basically our physical appearance as well. We internalize, we nurture, we love, we provide the stability in the home, and the men go out and they hunt and they protect the home. They kill the food, they bring it back. I can do all of that, but I won't do it as well. And when we're both working together as partners, we complement each other and complete each other. That doesn't mean that we can't both do what each other does. We don't do it as well.
Amen. The wisdom of Stephanie is on display again this morning.
That's what she does.
That's right. She just brings the wisdom. Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks, y'all.
It's exactly right, though. Your wisdom is always welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to call and putting it from a woman's perspective, something that Los and I could never do, as well as she did, because she is a woman.
Well, but I'm a black lesbian, so every now and then, but I cannot be as concise and as intelligent as the perspective that Stephanie's going to bring.
That's exactly right. Even as a lesbian.
Even as a lesbian. Yeah.
Right. The only thing you do
I'm whatever I feel like being.
Well, I know.
My truth is my truth.
And nobody could argue with that.
Are you questioning it?
No.
Okay,
what?
good.
No, I would never.
You'd hate to do that.
Yes, I would. Gosh.
I'd go to HR.
I know. That'd be bad news. That'd be bad news.
So I understand your co-host is going crazy.
That's right. You need a Subaru, though. I mean, if you're going to go in, go
all in.
Yeah. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. Ladies, you're always welcome in this show, and your wisdom is always invited.
And you get to talk to Jerry.
Well, and you get to talk to the guy that looks like freaking Freddie Freeman.
I'll hold the door open for you, or the phone line open for you.
See, look at there.
Right.
A man's
Say,
man.
ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please and thank you. Those were demanded in my home growing up, and in my home when I was raising my son. There was no... It wasn't an option. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Please, thank you. We used our manners. Clarence Thomas, the terrific Supreme Court justice, says your manners will get you in places that your education can't. and he's 100% correct about it.
I completely believe it. That's one of the issues that we bring up with my daughters all the time, especially when we allow them to get together with other parents. When it turns into, other parents that say, hey, we'll take them over to this place. We're always like, please, thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Like
always.
Immediately. And it's always nice when you get that report back up.
That's right.
Man, your kids are so well behaved. I'm like, thank you.
Nothing more encouraging than that right there. Dude, there's nothing. And I love it and I demand it. And I think that's the way it should be. I don't think there should be a step off from when I'm there or when my son's in the presence of other people. It is always important to use your manners. And I know these days, people notice even more now than they ever have before. Because my manners are important to me. I'm not well educated, so I got to use my manners. I've got to use them to the best of my benefit that I can. And it's nice when people even recognize it in me.
Yeah.
And it encourages me. It makes me want to do it that much more. I was in Charleston last weekend, and this one lady was like, God, you always say please and thank you. You always say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's like, how in the world did you? I never hear that anymore. In Charleston, South Carolina. She said, I never hear that anymore.
That's Southern, man.
Dude, that is so important. Do better. Do better. Raise your kids better. Good Lord. It will benefit them. It really will. It matters. Manners and behavior matters, even if you'd like to downplay it. I want to take you back to 2015, 10 years ago, a decade ago. What else was going on in 2015? I may have to do a quick Google search here. Let's see. What else?
Hammer was out of money. Let's see.
MC Hammer?
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
That's just the first thing I thought of.
Wow.
I think we might have lost one of the guys from Crisscross.
Ooh, that's tough. Let's see. Lithuania adopts the euro. That's just the first thing. I mean, that was literally the first thing on Wikipedia. Not the best place to go.
Hammer
Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Boy, that was an unusual day.
Hammer was in 1996. He was bankrupt. So, yeah, it was right there.
Yeah. So all kinds of things. As we come across more, we'll bring them up. But the reason I bring up 2015 is because...
a guy from Crisscross died in 2013. So, yeah, I was totally on it.
Right in there. You're right in the ballpark for sure.
I'm on it.
Dude, you are. And Barack Obama was on it then, too. Remember when he praised the American jobs created by Elon Musk and Tesla?
But there are also millions of Americans who work in jobs that didn't even exist 10 or 20 years ago. Jobs at companies like Google and eBay and Tesla. So no one knows for certain which industries will generate the jobs of the future.
Nobody knows, but we know that Tesla in 2015 were creating American jobs. And because Barack Obama liked it, everybody on the left liked it. Man, there were no defectors. This is the greatest product. This is the greatest company. We love it. And, of course, our climate change. We got to make sure we're fighting for it, and Elon's doing it. He's going to save the world. He's getting rid of these gas-powered guzzlers. We don't do more of that crap. We want these EVs. This is the greatest thing ever. And then 2025 rolls around.
Outside of the cobalt from the Congo, is Tesla not like the quintessential American company?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's what they are.
I'm not even interested in them, but I admire them.
I say it's a fun car. It's not for me, maybe down the road, but not as of right now.
I don't frown on you wanting one. I think it's great. It's just not good for me right now.
I have to look at it as I move further and further, as I move closer to Tennessee, okay? Like, I don't have the Pete Davis deal where I could just broadcast from home 7 days a week.
Oh, we need that.
I know, it'd be so much better. Way to go, Pete. I
need to take some lessons from old Peter.
Fuel efficiency is going to become something that down the road I will be more interested in. As of now, I'm like, all right, I'm fine. I like my SUV. But once I get to that point, I will be looking at a Tesla. And to think that in 2015, it was the quintessential American car company. Here's what they're doing. Here's what they're building here.
Amazing.
Here's what they're creating. And now it's, well, we have to key them all.
And set them on fire.
Yes.
It was about the environment. Remember, that was the big push, how green they were. Now, that's a marketing campaign. You know that.
Yes.
You drill for oil or you mine for minerals.
You dig all the minerals out of the earth.
It's a marketing campaign. There's no such thing as green energy. It does not exist. You're always giving up something to have energy, and energy is necessary. So that aside, they were going to save the environment with Teslas, and now setting them on fire, destroying the environment. Those batteries burn. We've talked about this before. When we're broadcasting over at the Smyrna Fire Department, they said they had to go through special training just to be able to put out EV fires because they burn so hot and for so much longer than just a regular old car. So these people have gone from, yes, we're saving the environment, it's so important, to we're going to set it on fire and ruin the environment. We don't care because we hate Elon Musk enough. We hate him more than we love the environment.
This is the nature of what happens with the communists. Remember, I've talked about how the Democrats 8.0 or the Democrats under Barack Obama, and they took the lead of whatever Barack Obama was interested in, the identity politics, the racial issues. Here's how we're going to play offense and defense, and they built their party accordingly. Now that it's fallen off, now that the woke ideology and identity politics and everything has taken a backseat and it's no longer popular to be into, and the more you talk about it, the less people are listening to you. It's weird how now Barack Obama has become that same thing. Remember, when he got on the trail, he's talking about, he was doing the same game of Joe Biden. If you're going to be black, you have to support Kamala Harris. He was trying to appeal to black men, and black men in droves were saying, no, not going to happen.
Voting for that.
They stopped listening to him. Like, that's how you know how much the party has changed, where Barack Obama does not have the influence from a party that was largely built on his mentality.
You don't talk about putting a spotlight on that. Burning down Teslas is a spotlight on them not listening to him anymore.
I don't know what the leadership's going to look like going forward, but it's going to be a wild time.
Buddy, I think I have a pretty good idea.
They don't listen to Barack anymore.
It's as hard left as you could possibly be. It is communist, socialist, Marxist. That's what the Democrat leadership will be.
And it's not Jasmine Crockett, and it's not AOC, and it's not Bernie Sanders. Like, the real leadership of the party is going to emerge, and I believe it's going to be emerging from who can show that they're the most frantic, the most violent, the most aggressive. Because if you temper, that is where these people right now are leaving you behind. Barack Obama comes across to them as a kitty cat. Like, he ain't down for the struggle. He's got his 4 homes and his Netflix deal and all the stuff he's got. They're like, you're not really down for this anymore.
And we played a piece of audio yesterday, I believe, of the woman, white liberal woman, of course. And she was like, we're not doing enough. Protesting is not enough. We have to riot. To Los's point, she's saying, here's what we want. Here's what we need to get the socialist, communist, Marxist change that we want to see. We can't just protest. There's no carrying signs, being silent on a corner, just, with our, I guess silent, being on the corner with our megaphone. We have to be violent. We have to riot to get the Marxist change that we want. And that's not, Barack Obama's not going to tell you to do that. He's not. AOC could be. Jasmine Crockett could be. They'll veil it in different language, but the dog whistle, it'll make the ear perk up.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do.
And it will. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. I love Donald Trump's response when he was asked about the signal leak, and they're like, well, look, did you see what J.D. Vance said about Europe? Do you think they're freeloaders too?
The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and J.D. Vance, the Vice President, said that the Europeans were freeloading. Do you agree with that assessment?
Do you really want me to answer? Yeah, I think they've been freeloading. The European Union's been absolutely terrible to us on trade. Terrible. And as you know, NATO, I got them to pay hundreds of billions of dollars. They were way behind. And if you look at Ukraine, so we're in for $350 billion because of Biden. Should have never happened, this war. All these dead people should not be dead. All these broken cities. NATO, and I don't blame NATO for this. I don't blame Europe for this. I blame Biden for the fact that he didn't make them equalize. And to this day, I said to him, you got to catch up. You got to equalize.
He allowed it. Biden allowed it. So Trump aptly points out, yes, they are freeloading, and yes, we're going to put an end to it. But I don't blame them. It's just like anybody else. If you let somebody take advantage of a situation, they will. It's that easy.
Very simply, for the longest time, we have been that country that has looked the other way while people are taking advantage of us.
It's like the neighbor that comes over and says, hey, can I borrow your lawnmower? Or can I borrow?
Fine.
Yes. and it never comes back.
It stays in their garage.
You have to ask them back. Okay, can I get the lawnmower back? I need to mow my own lawn. And if you didn't walk over there and say, hey, can I get my lawnmower back? Guess what wouldn't come back? Your lawnmower. And that's what Europe has done. They've been the terrible neighbor.
Yes. They have taken
the
advantage.
Terrible friend that takes advantage
of our gratuity.
And Donald Trump's tired of it, and you're tired of it. I'm tired of it, Los, Jarrett, we're all tired of it. I love seeing a commander-in-chief that says, these days are done. We're going to plot forward a path that will benefit the American people. That's his job. It was Joe Biden's job, or the cabal of people that ran the Biden administration. It was their job, too. But they didn't care about America. They cared about globalism. They cared about making a one-world government. They cared about taking the United States and stripping it away from the greatness that it's had and the greatness that it is, and just putting it into a big old cluster of this global community that makes no sense and certainly doesn't benefit the American people. They failed. Donald Trump is not failing, and he's winning every day on your behalf. And this is exactly what I want to see. It's exactly what I voted for. I will not get tired of winning, Donald Trump. I challenge you to make me tired of it.
Make me worn out by winning.
I want to be so tired. It'd be like talking to Kirby Smart. I want to be so sick of winning national championships at Georgia that I never want to see another national championship trophy again in my life. I'm so tired of it. I don't expect those days will ever happen. Ever, ever, ever. When we come back on Extra 106.3. 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. What the Dems are hoping for. That's next. That's the topic of the story time with Front Office Los on Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. The Atlanta Hawks dropped their game in Houston last night to the Rockets 121-114. Trae Young and Dyson Daniels each scored 19 in the game. The Hawks are off tonight. They will travel to Miami to play the Heat on Thursday. From the NFL, the New York Giants have agreed to a one-year deal with Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson. The former Seahawk played in Pittsburgh last season after spending time with the Denver Broncos. Receiver Stephon Diggs, he has a new team. He signed a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. That deal is worth $69 million. And the Atlanta Braves will open up their season beginning tomorrow in San Diego against the Padres. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the opener of the season. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
When you buy a Subaru from Subaru of Gwinnett, you're buying more than a vehicle. You're buying safety for your family, an investment that will hold its value, and something that will last a long time. You're buying trust. For a limited time, celebrate all the 2025 models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event, now through March 31st. Whether you're looking to match your adventurous spirit with the 2025 Subaru Outback or lean on the reliability of the 2025 Subaru Forester, Subaru of Gwinnett has the perfect fit for your family. You'll love exploring in the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, and the 2025 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. Plus, every Subaru model comes equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Subaru of Gwinnett has been your hometown dealership for years, and we're proud to be here to help your family find a Subaru to love for years to come. And our award-winning service department is here to ensure you've always got someone to lean on and trust when you need us. Stop in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth and meet our incredible staff, or start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine.
And I'm Josh Brooks with Southern Rodeo Company. We've teamed up with Vice Rodeo Productions to bring an exciting first-in-class rodeo to Cobb.
This family-friendly event has it all: food, games, novelties, and shopping. Cheer on the athletes of the International Professional Rodeo Association and witness some of the best bucking horses and bulls in the industry.
Join us for a fun, fast-paced, action-packed event featuring top cowboys and cowgirls from the United States and Canada. With paved parking, indoor restrooms, and covered seating, it's a great experience for everyone. The rodeo will be held at Jim R. Miller Park on April 4th and 5th. Get your tickets online at rodeotickets.com. Buy early. It's going to be a sold-out crowd.
Thanks, Josh. We appreciate Cobb County Pro Rodeo for choosing Our Town Monthly to promote the rodeo, and we look forward to seeing you there. And remember, our town is your town. Our Town Monthly.
Ready to go electric in a big way? Jim Ellis Buick GMC has the revolutionary 2025 GMC Hummer EV SUV in stock and ready to drive home today with an incredible $11,000 off MSRP.
This all-electric powerhouse combines the capability of the Hummer EV pickup with SUV versatility, delivering cutting-edge technology and legendary off-road performance, all without a drop of gas. With up to 830 horsepower, available crab walk mode, and an ultra-fast charging system, the Hummer EV SUV redefines what's possible in an electric vehicle.
Drive electric, drive bold, drive the Hummer EV by visiting JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in Chamblee off Peachtree Boulevard just inside the perimeter or in Beaufort off Highway 20 near 985. Jim Ellis Buick GMC, we are professional grade. 2025 GMC Hummer EV SUV, example stock number GH028. MSRP is $99,690. After Jim Ellis discounts, final sale price is only $88,690. Just add TABT and state fees. Offer expires March 31st, 2025.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with a doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums, and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggy. She's a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy at atlantasmiles.com.
The president said it himself.
America is back.
And Extra 106.3 continues on as the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. The news changes by the day, and you can count on Extra 106.3 to bring it to you straight every day without the spin. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
It was 6th grade, Eastbrook Middle School, Dalton, Georgia, and Miss Bonner. Jared Cowart, eyeball the board. Because I was, talking or not paying no attention. And that's what I want you to do right now. I want you to pay attention as we open up the story time, what Dems were hoping for. That's the topic.
Settle in and get comfortable, folks. It's story time with Uncle Los.
Oh, thank you, Jeray, and thank you to Tug, and thank you to America. And who else were you? Miss
Bonner. Yeah.
Miss Bonner as well. Thank you, Miss Bonner. And thank you to all the people that are currently in our hallway. I think that they're Braves-oriented.
Maybe. They got
it's opening days for the Braves tomorrow in San Diego. And so as the company that's the flagship, I think they're all here to get some stuff done.
Probably so. That one dude that's talking to the PD over at our sister station?
By the way, we're in a fishbowl, and right outside our window is a whole contingent of people that are all talking, and they look like they're very important. And they're looking at us, so it feels weird.
Yeah, it was just wave. That one dude that's to the left of our operations manager, or our program director for 680 The Fan looks like Leon Panetta.
Kind of does.
I mean, like,
Listen, there's people that showed up here in sports coats.
Yes, so they're serious.
There's important things going on. And
anyway.
Me, I wear shorts. All right. So I wanted to tell you this story about how a lot of this comes down to perception. Because we do have the story of what we saw in New York, where the CEO of United Healthcare gets gunned down in the streets. And when we saw it, we went, wow, that is an awful scenario. And yet, Luigi Mangione then has this entire faction of people that are holding him up like he's some sort of hero.
Like a folk hero, no doubt.
Now, this was not someone that was linked to, it'd be one story if, hey, your daughter is fighting through cancer and she's denied health care, or something happens to your mother. This person actually didn't have anything to do with United Healthcare. And yet, here's how it played out, and here's how he was held up as a hero. I want to take you back to a different era. Now, this would be during basically before the 1920s. You had a man named Gavrilo Princip. Now, some of y'all are going to know who that name is, but hopefully a lot of you don't, because it's never really talked about in our history books. Gavrilo Princip, who is this person? Well, Gavrilo Well, he was a Bosnian Serb, and he was a young man, a student who, was from a family that was not especially well off. He basically was living under Austrian-Hungary rule, and what had occurred was that as his life moved on, as he continued to progress in school, by 13, people started recognizing, hey, this guy is getting more and more political. He's getting more and more into what's going on in Serbia. And what eventually happened is you had the Serbian government was able to connect with Gavrilo Princip. They had a handful of people where they said, we think that these people might be a little more apt to violence. Let's connect with them and see what occurs. And so what eventually happens is Gavrilo Princip finds himself on Sunday, the 28th of 1914, standing in Sarajevo with a pistol. And what happens? A car drives by, and he gets within 5 feet of it, and he unloads into the car. Now, who was in that car? That would just happen to be the Archduke Ferdinand and his wife.
That seems like a big deal.
Who were both killed in this process. Now, keep in mind, this then basically lights the spark that creates World War I, that killed an estimated 15 to 22 million people. But what does history say about Gavrilo Princip? Well, in certain areas of the world, he's considered a terrorist, but not in Serbia. In Serbia, there is a bronze statue to Gavrilo Princip because they believe what he did was it ultimately led to Serbia being a free country and outside of the rule of Austria-Hungary. They believe that World War I, in part, was what created their nation. And so when you see the left talk about on Twitter, talk about on X, when they say, hey, somebody's got to take one for the team, they're looking for that person to hold in high regard. Now, keep in mind, we already had a shooter in Pennsylvania that kind of followed the whole role of Gavrilo Princip. Just a young man, kind of a wayward soul, got involved in politics, decided he wanted to make a name for himself, and he wanted the bronze statue. Didn't happen. But if you're telling me that we can have a bronze statue for, let's say, like a George Floyd, you don't think you would have one somewhere in this country if somebody actually assassinated Donald Trump the way that Gavrilo Princip ended up assassinating 2 people that caused a world war that killed 15 to 22 million people, and yet the Serbians look at him and they say, that man's a hero.
The same people that celebrate Luigi Mangione would celebrate anybody that takes out Donald Trump. There's no doubt about it. I mean, think about all the Twitter messages and social media messages and news reporting that were people that were pissed, leftists that were pissed that Thomas Crooks missed. If he could have just aimed better, if he could have just shot more accurately, then the problems would be solved. Dude, they would hold him up as a hero. They would have a Simba cam for him, just holding him up to let people see him, to celebrate him. I mean, think about these leftists. I just did a quick search on Twitter, on X, for Luigi Mangione. Oh, my God. Luigi Mangione is a hero for killing a CEO. So hot, so brave.
Yeah.
What? I mean, that's insanity.
Imagine if Pennsylvania had worked out. Or
Ryan Ruth.
Why are they trying to continue to push this narrative of, if one of y'all will just do it, if you'll just take one for the team and make this happen? We've already seen this over the course of history. This is now over 115 years ago, basically, where a young man, who, by the way, he was sentenced to high treason. He got 20 years in prison. He only lived for a few more years because he died of tuberculosis in prison. But he's a hero with the Serbian people. The Serbs look at him as, this was a guy that took it into his own hands and created a scenario that created our own country. I don't think they're looking to create their own country. What they're looking to do is, how do we rescue ourselves from the Republicans?
How do I take over this country?
Yes.
How do I create the end of capitalism? How do I put socialism, Marxism, communism in motion? And that's what they're wanting.
And we are moving to this era where I believe we are going to see more political assassinations. You don't go 40 years without an attempt on a president's life and then have 2 on the Republican frontrunner and the person who was set to be president, 2 in the span of 3 months. It doesn't happen that way. You don't have a would-be assassin showing up at a Supreme Court justice's home looking to kill them. You know, the idea that Steve Scalise, that's now like old news, that somebody showed up with a rifle who was a Bernie Sanders supporter and started shooting at the Republicans as they were getting ready for a baseball game. Like, this is the era we're entering into. And so it's going to get more violent. As you talked about it, Tug, as you made the point, I believe we're going to see a split of the Democrat Party, and we're going to see something that's going to end up being more socialist, more communist, more violent. That's where you're going to get into this stuff.
That's right.
And so to see what Gavrilo Princip was able to accomplish, and now he's got a statue.
Let me give you another example. At Best Jessica Cat. And if you open up her profile, I'm only back on this platform to help push back against the media biased against Luigi Mangione. F. Elon Musk, and her pronouns, she, her. And she's got a picture of Luigi trending on social media, and his picture, which looks it looks like it came out of a magazine. And it says, as he should be, keep talking about Luigi. It just echoes what you've just pointed out in your story time. It echoes everything you said. They would put up a statue of him if they could get away with it right now.
No doubt about it.
If Americans wouldn't push back and be like, you guys are so sick and twisted, y'all, or something wrong with y'all, they would absolutely be doing it right now. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10 when we come back. Bonus hour. Jasmine Crockett is low down, and so is the leftist organization that supports her and doesn't condemn what she had said. We will talk about it next after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
For the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
God forbid it ever happens to you, but let's say you have a home invader. Somebody breaks into your home while you are there. It is clear they present a threat. They may kill you at the very least. They're going to take some of your precious stuff. Now, if you happen to live in normal America, here's what you may do. You get the gun out of your nightstand. You confront the home invader. You suggest that they leave. If they do not leave, you force them out of your home. If necessary, you physically remove them from your home. If they react violently and present a threat to your life, you shoot them a lot. Normal America. But what if you live in leftist woke America? Things change. You get the gun, you use it to protect yourself, but in so doing, you face the chance of facing a criminal penalty because you acted without due process. But let's say you revert back to your old woke America ways and you force the intruder out of your home at gunpoint. Maybe you force him into your car, drive him about 100 miles away, dump him out so maybe he won't find his way back. Ruh-roh. Where's the judicial process? Did you go to a court and have a hearing to determine whether or not the home invader belonged in your home? And if not, did you get a judge's ruling that the home invader did in fact pose a threat to you, and it would be quite okay if you removed him? And in woke America, if you didn't take these necessary steps without expelling the home invader, a federal judge could then demand that you bring the home invader back into your home where he will be allowed to stay until you take the necessary judicial steps to get him out. Woke America, a wonderful place. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 FM.
Don't miss the Braves home opener at Truist Park April 4th through the 10th when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy some fun during the week, including Braves Walk on April 4th, where fans can line the streets of the Battery Atlanta as the team parades down the street and into the ballpark, welcoming in the 2025 season. And of course, the Braves are back with some iconic giveaways and ticket packages like the Chris Sale's Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta Airlines on April 9th. And brand new to the lineup this year, the Hello Kitty ticket package on April 10th, which includes an exclusive Braves and Hello Kitty co-branded light-up figurine. Plus, don't miss the first Kids Club Day on Sunday, April 6th, where the first 3,000 kids will receive a Chris Sale Triple Crown to wear. Some great seats still remain, and it's the perfect way to spend your spring break. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and freebies during the opening homestand and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turf Co. to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turf Co. was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turf Co. to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
He's still trying to figure out how it happened. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is at the heart of the Signal chat controversy and tells Fox.
I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
Waltz says he doesn't yet know how he inadvertently invited a journalist into the group chat discussing military action against Houthi militants in Yemen. Democrats are demanding a full investigation. Here's Senator Tim Kaine.
It's completely unacceptable. It is, it's amateurish beyond belief.
And House Democrats will question the directors of national intelligence and the CIA at a hearing next hour. Atlantic has just released more of the texts that editor Jeffrey Goldberg saw in that chat. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that no war plans were discussed, but Fox's Peter Ducey reads the new messages just unveiled. He has them at the White House.
He texted the group at one point. At 2:10, more F-18s launch, second strike package. Then at 2:15, strike drones on target, all caps. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. Pending earlier trigger-based targets. It goes on to explain F-18 strikes, and then he says more to follow.
Though the specific targets in Yemen were not disclosed. The president has signed an executive order that some states might challenge in court, requiring them to get proof of citizenship for voters in federal elections and demanding only ballots received by Election Day be counted.
To sign this one is a great honor.
The president, who claims the 2020 election he lost was rigged, also threatens to pull federal funding from states that don't comply.
And we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections.
A federal judge who blocked some of President Trump's firings, trying to shrink the government, will hold a hearing today
to decide if a temporary restraining order stays in place to prevent the firing of probationary workers. The order also stops any new terminations. With the injunction in effect, about 25,000 workers are being sought and asked to return to their jobs.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. America's listening to Fox News.
When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money? A bigger house? Maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How you wake up each day? How you sleep? What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So if pain is affecting your life, see how Relief Factor can help. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, it doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or even eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So give their 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call, 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're hurting, in 3 weeks or even days, Relief Factor can give you a chance to rediscover the true meaning of living better again. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. You know, you can download the Kimmer podcast on the Extra 106.3 app, along with a ton of other great shows. Go get it for crying out loud now on Apple or Android.
Tug and Los until 10. Final hour of the show. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230. Especially the ladies. Goodness gracious. The ladies have been showing up for the Morning Extra, listening in at record rates. Thank you. And calling in, too. It's always great to have a female perspective when we can get your point of view about the world, what's happening, Donald Trump, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is, your perspective is valued here.
Well, Tug is going through his own version of menopause, so that's why he appreciates you helping out.
And it's hot.
He's like, it's so hot in here all the time.
Yes.
So we need that feedback.
I'm having my own summer.
It's so hot. That's
what a friend of mine used to say when she was going through menopause. She was like, y'all, I'm having my own summer. It was the funniest thing. And of course, I, at the time, didn't really understand it. Now I have a better idea of what it is.
That's funny.
So
I'm having my own summer.
It was so great. So anyway, you're always welcome and you're always respected here on Extra 106.3. Jasmine Crockett, on the other hand, not so much.
That's a mean lady.
She is. Well, fake and mean.
Just a person as a representative, within the House, out of doubt. Now, I know it says Tarrant County, but I've looked into it. It's a small amount of Tarrant County because Tarrant County would never provide us this. Fort Worth, the town of the cow, would never send us Jasmine Crockett. However, Dallas, the can't-do city, and I can say that because I've lived there before. Yes, Dallas is a can't-do city, would send us Jasmine Crockett. But she's playing this game of, how am I going to get attention within the party? I'm going to try and pretend that I'm some angry black woman who's from the streets when you went to the finest private schools and when you first got into Congress, you spoke like everyone else.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden it is just this dialogue, this way of speaking that is a caricature that we talked about before. And nobody buys it. I mean, I guess those on the far left, maybe they buy it. People that want to like her and have her point of view, they buy it. They want to buy it. They probably recognize that they're being sold, but it's okay. She's saying what I want to hear. I'm willing to buy it. I don't, you don't. And so when she comes out and she makes a statement while speaking at Human Rights Campaign, which, I mean, I don't know how much you know about Human Rights Campaign. I don't know that there's much of their human rights that I buy into. I believe they're a leftist organization that doesn't care anything about human rights. And so much so that they would put Jasmine Crockett up there to say what she did.
To go after people that have no legs.
To go after people who are disabled.
The Human Rights Campaign.
Those don't go. Those are oil and water. Those don't match.
Like, let me get this straight. Even if they're on the other side, if you're at a human rights campaign, typically you're not going to find some of the people among us who have issues and then go attack them. Like, did she run out of lepers?
I guess so.
Were there not enough Down syndrome people that she could make fun of?
Yes. If she's doing what she's doing out loud, can you imagine what she does in private?
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Y'all know.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey.
All right, first off, she never sounded like that, which you'll hear in a minute, what she used to sound like.
Yeah.
But going after Greg Abbott, granted, there are things in Texas, like John Cornyn. All right, Texas, let's get things straightened out here. Stop sending John Cornyn to D.C. Greg Abbott, I've got some issues there, but I'm willing to deal with it. The one area that I've never gone after Greg Abbott is, hey, about that wheelchair that you've been in since you were 26 years old because a tree fell on you. How much do you deserve that? And yet Jasmine Crockett is referring to him as Hot Wheels.
It's just despicable. It's just unnecessary. It's inappropriate. Am I shocked that she said it? No. I'm the furthest thing from shocked.
I mean, I said Stacey Abrams is going to lose a foot to diabetes. All right? This is in the sake of comedy. If the woman lost a foot to diabetes, I wouldn't be making fun of her.
Right, because it would be despicable. It would be low down.
Right.
Jasmine Crockett is those things. And I'll say it again. If you say that out loud, what do you say in private? Because I would contend it's probably a lot worse than that. And our buddy Phil Holloway, who's been a respected lawyer in town, he just hit us with a text and said, guess who is big buddies with Jasmine Crockett? Fonnie Willis. Reckon why?
So strange.
Seems odd that birds of a feather would flock together like that.
By the way, did you see Fonnie in her video from LAX yesterday?
Yes. With the boyfriend that she doesn't have?
The boyfriend she doesn't have with the relationship that they don't have any longer. If not for Nathan Wade's ween, we might have an entirely different scenario when it comes to Donald Trump.
Right. We learned.
She couldn't stop from taking her pants off. And that is why Donald Trump is a free man without any kind of issues. He actually has the mugshot that Fonnie Willis had done in the Oval Office because she couldn't keep from getting Nathan Wade's pants off him.
And then when questioned about it, we're not dating.
I love it.
Then her daughter gets pulled over, and who shows up?
Nathan Wade.
Her with Nathan Wade.
Weird how they're right there.
And then on vacation, who shows up?
Nathan Wade.
Odd. I thought you were dating. How often, I'm going to maybe put Jeray on the spot here. How often do you show up with people that you have no relationship with? Like, let's say to a party. Just you're going to a Fred's birthday party. How often do you take someone that you have no relationship with to that party?
0% of the time.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's odd.
I might hold the door for him at the door.
What's that?
I said I'll hold the door for him when we get there if we get there at the same time.
Sure, but does someone that you've broken up with, that you don't have a relationship with anymore, do you invite to go on vacation?
Probably avoid that party.
To go down and rescue your daughter who's driving on a suspended license or whatever it was. Odd that they show up together like they do. Odd. You know what else is odd? I wonder if Jasmine Crockett does this too, like Fonnie does. Keep stacks and pallets of cash in her home. Because I don't know anybody, and I don't know like a bunch of wealthy people, but I know some people that have done well in their lives.
Well, it depends on which Jasmine Crockett you're asking. Because if you ask old Jasmine Crockett is going to say, well, no, why would I ever keep stacks of cash in my home?
That didn't make any sense. Nobody does that.
New Jasmine Crockett would say, fat stacks all over the place, baby. Right?
Fire
all right, let's hear the difference in the two.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was.
Impressive young woman.
But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Listen, he up there, he's hearing all kinds of nonsense and bull. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that. We wouldn't, you know. But when she called me and said, I think it's time for me to retire, and you're the one that I believe should take my seat, I really was kind of caught off guard. I didn't anticipate that.
Let's get one more.
If anyone knows anything about the Congresswoman, they know. We showed up, and if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do, for sure.
She's playing a character.
Of course she is. Because she thinks it's appealing to people.
So I've read through a number of different posts on X, and the one that really jumped out to me the most was it was a black woman of the same age who flat out said, you and I have both known what it's like growing up to be a black woman in this country. It's like there are challenges associated when you're a minority in the country and depending on what you're trying to accomplish. That's real. That happens. It's not as anywhere near as restrictive as it was in the past, but there are people that pay attention to this stuff. And yet, part of what gets you beyond it is that you assimilate to acting in a professional manner, in a respectable manner. And Jasmine Crockett got to the halls of Congress and then decided, I'm going to play a caricature of what actually keeps black people down.
Let me put on this outfit.
I'm going to put on this mask.
And play a part.
And I'm going to play a part because this is what I believe the Democrats want to have.
And they must, because not only
they're like, we've got an angry black woman on our side. I'm going to play the angry black woman.
Not only have they supported her, they've put her out front. They're like, here, let's see how much we can get her on TV. And it's funny because Scott Jennings, who's on CNN, is the smartest guy over there. And he was like, I love the fact that they put her on TV at night. Like this is the thing you should continue doing. I thank God that they do that. She should go on TV twice as much as she does right now, maybe 3 times as much. And she's like, I don't know when they decided that she was the leader of the party, but I'm certainly glad she did. And he's exactly right, because it's so thinly veiled. Like, you see right through it. It is such a character, a game, a cartoon, not even real. And yet, that's that astroturf that is everything inside the Democrat Party. Remember, environmentalism was the thing. Now they set Teslas on fire, which ruins the environment. Jasmine Crockett, we're going to put her out, and then we're going to get her to wear the mask because it's astroturf too.
Think about how far things have turned since 2008. When Barack Obama in 2007 into 2008 spoke at the Democrat National Convention, and what was the response? It was electric. And he's so well-spoken. Remember Joe Biden?
Yeah.
He's such a well-spoken guy. It was like all the whole veiled Democrat stuff. But it was professionalism. Now, granted, he's probably the most despicable politician we've had in 20, 25 years for the direction he wanted to go. But the presentation aspect was 100% charismatic and likable.
Convincing.
And yet now the Democrats have decided to go out front and say, well, we have another black woman, and let's make her sound like she's from Dem streets. Rather than be more like Barack Obama.
And we know that she went to expensive private schools. You know, here's a line from Dana Lash. She was born into privilege, educated into privilege, and grew into adulthood with privilege. And yet she's trying to act like she didn't, because she thinks that will be acceptable. She thinks that will be attractive.
But that's what it speaks to the Democrat Party, that having a well-spoken minority who is articulate, who is smart, who is well-educated, who grew up in all of these, all this level of having their advantages, that is not as valuable to them as somebody who sounds like they're from Dem streets.
Well, because they feel like if they can get anybody to vote for them, that we'll use that as the lure. We'll use that as the bait. We're going to say, look, we sound just like you. That's what they're trying to convey.
Ready?
Yep.
I am one of you.
Oh, wait a minute. I've heard this before, Los. I feel like I've heard that before. I am one of you.
I mean, Jasmine Crockett is looking straight at Black America as they leave the Democrat Party, and she's like, hey, guys, really, I am one of you.
You're right, and even says it with the accent.
Like, no, not really. But that's the game. That's the game that's being played. And there's going to be a point where it's a temperament issue. It's going to be a point where you're pushing so much of the middle away because of your antics.
That's right.
That people just say, I don't have time for that. That's not a reflection of who I am or how I conduct myself. And in this case, you went after a guy who has been without his legs since he was 26 years old, who's the governor of Texas, and you called him Hot Wheels.
And I've not heard anybody on the
not
left.
one person who said, hey, I went a little too far. I was just
kidding around.
She's
not going to, but even the people around her, they're wiser than that. They're better than I would like to think they're better than that.
Well, they've pushed her to be as abrasive as she can be.
It's part of the appeal. So they say, the appeal. But I'm like Scott Jennings, put her out there more, because she does nothing but repel people. She's better than off in the summer.
Hey, Los, I've got a question for you.
Sir.
If she was going to be a first-round quarterback draft pick, what sort of adjectives would the sports media use to describe her?
I would say that if you were going to do this the right way, you would say that there's questionable decision making. You would say that she's got, I would say, happy feet in the pocket.
Right.
You question her ability to go downfield.
Yeah.
You know, all the things you're looking for to be solid. You're like, how did this happen? And this is a woman who then went about when it came time to not apologize, but to explain. She explained the reason why she called him Hot Wheels is because he put migrants on airplanes. That was her excuse.
So now she's backpedaling.
She said, I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was
course
thinking
she
about
wasn't.
the planes, trains, and automobiles, like a movie, he used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear among the most vulnerable.
Martha's Vineyard? Is that what she's talking about? Because Martha's Vineyard is the group that got them out of there faster than anybody using the National Guard.
Talk about the weakest deflection. I'm calling him Hot Wheels because he would send migrants into black communities.
But I'll admit that's quick on her feet, or somebody told her to say it.
Not that quick, because it was yesterday at 3:45, and that was 6 hours after it all had gone on.
She knew she had to get it done. Hot Wheels. And this is the head of the Democrat Party. They think she is the winner. They think she's going to take them to the promised land. She's going to dethrone Trump. She's going to push him in a direction of failure.
By the way, she also, because the internet's forever, always know that. So all people, never send anything to anyone that you don't want to get out.
Yeah, of course, because it will.
Because like Tug's nudie pics will see the light of day at some point. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
I'm fearful. I worry about it every day.
The internet's forever. She liked to post referring to Greg Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2021.
Oh, so she didn't even come up with it on her own.
She's been doing this for quite a while.
She's been taking notes. Whatever I see on the internet, I'm going to make my own. Man, oh man, Jasmine Crockett, what a disaster. And again, the Democrat Party, they think that's the winner.
And Greg Abbott, as he pointed out, it's another day and another disaster by the Democrats. The reality is they have no vision, no policy.
And that's the truth.
They have nothing to sell but hate.
And that's why Donald Trump continues to win, and we continue to celebrate. Here on Extra 106.3, along with you, 404-741-1230. 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors. Right now, you can get 10% off any job or 12 months, 0% financing, windows, doors, roof, gutters, millwork, siding. They do it all. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co. Newt Gingrich says the Democrats are stuck. And let me tell you, Newt is rarely wrong. Talk about it next. After headlines on Extra.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Security securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Are you the type of consumer that likes to do your research before you choose a company? Well, then you need to join Dan Watkins, Chris Lolamy, and myself, Jim Niarchos, every Saturday morning at 9 for the All Four Seasons Home Show. We only vet local businesses with a proven history of integrity, competence, and solid customer service. The All Four Seasons Home Show helps you make a good consumer decision, save money, and not get ripped off. You can also follow our podcasts on Apple, Google, and Spotify. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Saturday mornings at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
March is the month of marriage, and we're celebrating at Solomon Brothers Jewelers with our annual Marry Me March event. And this year, the deals are bigger than ever. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon, and we are here to help couples tie the knot with engagement rings and wedding bands at this year's best prices. All this month, we are offering savings of up to 60% off rings and wedding bands from our top designs like halos, the hidden halo, single shared prong, double shared prong, and every other design in our store. Choose from our selection of hundreds of beautiful rings in every budget, or hand design the ring of their dreams with the help of our expert jewelers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice at Solomon Brothers. Don't miss our Marry Me March event going on all this month and save up to 60% off engagement rings and wedding bands. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
We all know that life can be unpredictable. The moment you're planning that family trip and then the next somebody is sick. And that's why I want to talk to you about the Jace case, your ultimate safety net when emergencies strike. The Jace case isn't just that mess of medications behind the mirror up in the cabinet. It's an organized doctor-prescribed case of life-saving tools paired with a set of cards explaining exactly how and when to use these medications. The case is peace of mind in a time of uncertainty. Imagine having your essential prescriptions right at your fingertips, ready to go when you need them most. Whether it's a sudden allergy flare-up or a common cold, you won't have to scramble to find the help you need. It's about taking charge of your health and being prepared no matter what life throws at you. When you order your Jace case today, use the promo code BECK at jace.com for a discount. Don't wait for the unexpected to catch you off guard. Be ready with the right medications on hand the moment you need them at jase.com, jace.com, promo code BECK.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. Georgia law enforcement made the biggest fentanyl bust in state history. Authorities say they found 5 kilograms of the drug at a raid in Sandy Springs, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Self-driving taxis are coming to Atlanta. Lyft is partnering with May Mobility to put a fleet of self-driving minivans on the road this summer. More than 20 illegal immigrants were detained on Monday as part of an FBI and ICE operation, and the Georgia Secretary of State's office is purging over 450,000 registrations from voter rolls. Today's weather, clear and sunny starting in the 50s with a high of 70 and strong winds. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hours, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 100,000 jobs under the belt. They'll have a foreman on site to answer any questions that you have. You see something you don't like, you tell them, they fix it. It's so simple. Windows, doors, siding, roofs, gutters, millwork, they do it all. SouthernExteriors.co, 8779 You can get 0% financing for 12 months or 10% off any job, no matter how big the job. SouthernExteriors.co. Newt Gingrich is a guy that I've admired for such a long time, and Newt rarely ever gets it wrong. There's rarely a time where I'm like, I don't know, Newt, this time you may not have it right. He's just such a wise man. He's done it all. He's been involved at the highest levels, and a guy that I trust. I genuinely think he is a good man that cares about the country, and that's what I look for in a leader. I don't often trust government. I don't often trust people even on our side in government. Newt doesn't qualify as that. I definitely trust him.
I do enjoy that he's a student of history. Like, he can reference back to the time of the founding of the country and talk about what the intentions were. And so legislatively, if it doesn't fit the founding, he will point that out. And so I want you to take a listen to what he had to say when he was surmising where the Democrats are now and why they're stuck. Why are they in this pattern where something new is going to have to emerge? It's largely where we talk about the pretzel, where your party and your ideology has turned on itself, and now it's self-destructive. Take a listen.
There are two different things going on here with the Democrats. The first is they are watching with terror as all the different sources of government money that has propped them up for the last 60 or 70 years, all of it is now being challenged by President Trump and by Elon Musk. I mean, this cuts at the very base of their coalition. And if they can't bribe people, if they can't act corruptly, if they can't take care of their friends, their entire coalition is going to collapse. Second, you have a very large part of the Democratic Party for whom the beliefs you were describing, transgenderism, for example, are religious beliefs. This is a secular religion. They can't unlock because they believe these things. They believe in an open border. They believe that there really is no such thing as America. They believe that it's really good to have millions of people flood into this country. It's really good to have people who don't have to work, that work requirements are inherently bad. All of these things are a semi-religious or religious belief system, and that's why they can't unlock.
They worship at the altar of government. But there's a reason behind it. Like, I'm a faithful man. I believe in Christ. I believe He is the Savior. I believe 100%. And I know that He is the salvation. That's the reason I worship at that altar. I do not worship at the altar of government. The difference is, I feel like Christianity, or I know, not even feel like, Christianity is the path forward, the good path. For Democrats and their religious belief, it has nothing to do with the person that's worshiping. It's nothing to do with the Democrats in the party or the people that prop up government. It is all about the people that are to be worshiped. That's where the concern is. That's where the religion comes in. They want you to worship. They want you to need them. They need you to need them because that's where they derive their power from.
Their religion is different from your own. Yours might be and regardless of what your religion is, whether it's a savior, whether it's a deity, whether it's an essence of what goes into, like, for instance, Hinduism, of like the idea is to try to become a better person in all things, in all ways, all the time. Theirs is, let's worship a twisted ideology that believes that men can be women, women can be men, and that government is the end-all, be-all of all things.
They're the arbiter of truth. They're the arbiter of everything. But the thing that I think gets left out a lot is the people that are implementing the religion are the deity. Don't forget them because they want the power. They want the money. They want that authority to say, you're not good, you are. You can't say that, you can.
I never would have imagined when I would start going after Anthony Fauci how much of a crushing, avalanche of attacks I would get. You can't say that about Anthony Fauci. He's a good man trying to save the world. Like, you really put all of your eggs in this, like, your faith is in a career politician who helped kill a bunch of people during the AIDS epidemic. Like, do you not know the history here? There's a reason why Robert F. Kennedy, when he had The Real Anthony Fauci as a book, why was he never sued?
Because it was real.
Because it was all factual.
It was all real
of
information.
What that man was up to and what he was doing. Dude's a monster. But yet, that is what they do. When you put your faith in men, this is what you get.
That's, boy, howdy, that's what the good book says. Do not put your faith in man. It's exactly word for word. And there's a reason, because that's true. Much like the book that was referenced by RFK, the Bible is true. And it says the exact same thing. Do not put your faith in man. And I don't. And I won't. I refuse to. And I love the fact that Newt brought up propping them up. They have to be propped up because their policies fail every time. These people that are in love with socialism, their only salvation in that is, we'll do it right. we'll get socialism, right? We're the ones that have the right plan. Karl Marx didn't get it right. None of the Russians.
We're smarter now.
That's exactly right. If you just give us the chance to rule with an iron fist, we'll get it right. We'll do good with our power and our money. Does anybody believe that? Give me one person that's not corrupted by power and money. What's the old proverb that says it's easier to get a camel through an eye of a needle than a rich man into the gates of heaven? Think about it.
I like that, yeah.
It's
it's hard.
Corrupting.
Yeah.
Power and money is corrupting. And you want me to believe in that? I don't believe in anybody. Look, even Donald Trump, I like him. I think he's trying to do good, but I don't worship his altar either.
No, I look at him as it's the guy who fits the modern time, because it's a man who is clearly has frailties within his own way he lives his life, things that are not ideal, the way he's conducted himself in the past as far as his language and other things as well, but yet he's the right guy for this time.
And I think Butler, Pennsylvania changed him.
Yes, I believe so too. But this is a similar, if you ever read about like Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill had been rejected by the British people. But when they were on a war footing, it was right person, right place, right time. And when war was over with, they were done with Churchill. Sometimes it has to be right person, right place, right time. And in the case of Donald Trump, we are so corrupt. We have such a big and bloated government. And we need to get back to at least some of our founding principles and get our spending under control and get us back to a more stable place. And that's what he represents as a businessman versus a politician. Is there issues with him? Hell yeah.
Of course.
But that's where the worship is not there.
Because we're all broken. We know that. The good book tells us we're all broken. We're all sinners. And I would never compare Donald Trump to King David, but I will say that he's used broken people to accomplish the goals that he has, to accomplish whatever it is. And they say it at church all the time. He uses bad to accomplish what is going to ultimately be good. People are like, why do bad things happen? Because it's going to cause something else that will be good ultimately. And I believe that. I do believe it. That's why I don't try to, I try my best never, even when I'm in a valley, and we all have them, when you're in that place in life and you're just like, man, I just cannot get out of this valley. And I try to be the same in the valley as I am on the mountaintop. I try to give the same gratitude and be just as grateful when I'm in the valley as I am when I'm on the mountaintop. And it's hard to do. But that's my goal. That's what I want to do every day.
Well, that's the idea of just being solid, of just being dependable. It's like it is very hard, I think, if you roll with just the ebb and flows of life and you allow yourself to be up and down all the time. It's a roller coaster, and I think it's very hard to be dependable. It's like, how do you, as for lack of a better term, Tug, as a Navy man, how do you be the captain of the ship in good weather and bad? You're just solid.
You have to be.
If you can just be solid, it inspires.
That's a great analogy, because you can't be different.
No.
If you do, the ship suffers. The ship takes on damage that it didn't need to, and unnecessary problems that you put yourself in if you're letting that low point, if you're letting the storm dictate what happens. No, you drive around the storm. You get out of the storm. You go away from the storm.
But this is what Newt's talking about. Newt's talking about how you're being influenced and you're encouraging emotionalism, of just being all over the place all the time and having no barometer, of having no captain.
But the Democrats, have they ever had a captain, really? Because they've all been that same worship at my altar.
I will point out what we have had in the past, and it's aged out. Nancy Pelosi herded cats.
Oh, yeah.
They were emotional. Here's what they were. What happened under Joe Biden was that the inmates were running the asylum. Nancy couldn't keep control of it. And so the communists were allowed to do all the crazy things that they wanted. We were flying gay pride flags above the American flag at the White House.
Despicable.
I mean, it's one thing after another. You might say, well, what's the big deal about that? It's because they were allowed to do anything that they wanted.
And nothing flies above the American flag. Nothing.
We had cocaine at the White House. I was like, they were able to do everything they wanted. When it was when Nancy was in charge, Nancy Iron Fist. In fact, Nancy's last big thing was she got rid of an American president. So let's not pretend like she was not that person who was taking care of these things.
She was.
Now they're rudderless. They don't have that person anymore. Nancy was that for 20 years. She basically, if you were going to be a wild ass, she was like, well, we're voting you out.
Yeah, if you're gone.
You're going to be out of here.
And they were every time. And it's so funny you bring up all those things that happened at the White House. I bet if you strip away people's knowledge, if for 5 minutes people don't have any recollection of what happened, and you were able to ask them, hey, would you want any of this stuff to happen at the White House? The answer would be emphatically no. And yet, my Aunt Peg's just fine with it. She'd still vote for it. She would tell me if she didn't know.
Sounds great. It's so progressive.
She'd tell me, no, I don't want cocaine at the White House. No, I don't want flags flying above the American flag. No, I don't want people having sex and filming it in the Senate chamber. No, I don't want that. But since it happened under her beloved Democrat rule, she's just fine with it and would vote for it again, and did. Even though, strip all the politics away, she would say, no, that is offensive. No, that is wrong.
So gross.
It's so gross. And yet, because it aligns with her worship of government, it's just fine. I'll vote for it again.
I'm going to tell Aunt Peg that you're going to have Chris Christie. He's going to show up over on Capitol Hill, and he's going to plow through one of his secretaries on film. And she would go, well, that's unbecoming.
Oh,
you would never allow that. That is horrible. Do you not have more respect? I'm like, yeah, you had a couple dudes doing that.
Yeah.
Under your rule.
And you wanted to vote for it again.
You're
not
like,
even wanted to. You did. You did vote for it again. You lost. Because most people were like, oh, my God.
It's like, these people are out of control.
This is nuts.
So Chris Christie shows up on the White House lawn, and he takes his shirt off.
Nobody wants to see that.
And he starts doing a dance around. And you're like, that man needs a bra.
Yeah.
All right.
A bra.
Under your rule, you had a dude who had two fakers.
Yeah.
And he pulled them out and just showing them off on the White House lawn.
Joe Biden's giving the old
Everybody's
thumbs
like,
up.
thumbs up. It's totally
That's exactly
cool.
what-
And Aunt Peg, under my Chris Christie scenario, she's like, ooh, gross. Under that one, she was like, it's fine.
I'll vote for that again.
I'm tolerant.
I'll vote for that again. You're exactly right. I'm tolerant. That's exactly right.
Newt Gingrich has it nailed, man.
He always does. He always does. Oh, hush up, John Ossoff playing the tough guy role. It's almost kind of funny. Next on the Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Wednesday, March 26th. The Atlanta Hawks dropped their game in Houston last night to the Rockets 121-114. Trae Young and Dyson Daniels each scored 19 in the game. The Hawks are off tonight. They will travel to Miami to play the Heat on Thursday. From the NFL, the New York Giants have agreed to a one-year deal with Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson. The former Seahawk played in Pittsburgh last season after spending time with the Denver Broncos. Receiver Stephon Diggs, he has a new team. He signed a 3-year deal with the New England Patriots. That deal is worth $69 million. In the Atlanta Braves will open up their season beginning tomorrow in San Diego against the Padres. Chris Sale will be on the mound for the opener of the season. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I've been telling you about Southern Exteriors for quite some time now, well over a year. They've been out to my house. They do exceptional work. I've met people that have had work done at their homes. They're incredibly satisfied. Just 5-star ratings all over the place. And then, if you recall, back at Christmas time, gave away a roof for a family that needed it so badly. They do it every year. That's the kind of work that they do. That's the kind of people they are. And if you go to their Facebook page, you can meet the team that makes it happen. Southern Exteriors, more than just a company, a team of dedicated folks who take pride in delivering quality and precision. They love seeing the smile on your face when they get done with the job, and it's exactly what you wanted. It's just like when somebody calls in, it's like, hey, man, I love the radio station. I love the show that y'all do. I love that point you made about whatever it was. And you're like, man, that's great. Just to have that feedback from people knowing that you've done a good job. From project managers to installers, they're committed to helping homeowners get the exterior upgrades that they want and done correctly. They've been doing it since 1999, over 200,000 projects completed, and dedicated 100% dedicated to customer satisfaction. If you're ready for an upgrade, you want that curb appeal back in your home, you can get 10% off or 0% financing for 12 months. It's up to you, whichever works for you best. Call them today, 877-9-SOUTHERN, 877-9-SOUTHERN, or go to southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums, and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggy. She's a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy, atlantasmiles.com.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services, but you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto. Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Securing America.
The Senate Intelligence Committee held its annual threat assessment hearing Tuesday. Committee Chair Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas says the threat report placed a new danger at the top of its list this year.
For the first time, the annual threat assessment lists foreign illicit drug actors as the very first threat to our country.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard explained why.
Cartels were largely responsible for the deaths of more than 54,000 U.S. citizens from synthetic opioids.
That's more than the number killed in any terrorist attack or by a foreign nation. Most of the precursor chemicals for fentanyl comes from China. CIA Director John Ratcliffe says China could crack down on that, but won't because
there are more than 600 PRC-related companies that produce those precursor chemicals.
And Ratcliffe says they're part of an industry worth $1.5 trillion to the Chinese. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Glenn Beck until noon. Clay and Buck from noon to 3. And The Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. Plus Jesse Kelly from 6 to 9. And Jimmy Vela from 9 to midnight. The voices you need all day with the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
I remember sitting in front of my computer, and it would take darn near 45 minutes to an hour to download one song. Y'all remember in the Napster days? Holy cow.
LimeWire. Yeah, I did LimeWire and Napster.
I never did LimeWire. I did Napster a whole bunch, and man, I still have some of those files today that I downloaded then.
Oh, I
still to this day.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the live cuts, stuff that you'd find.
In fact, Amazon. Now, I don't have a lot of ways I hate on Amazon, but I will hate on them in this regard. So it used to be you could subscribe to Amazon Music. You know, it was part of your Amazon package in your Prime. But you could pay the extra money so that they would store your music. And I uploaded like 80 CDs to it.
Wow.
So I had the entire Amazon Music collection, plus I had all of these very random, a lot of them were like bootleg stuff and things like that.
Sure.
That belonged to my wife and I. And then they got rid of the service.
Oh, no.
So you're going to talk about like I had.
Did you have to go and download them back and save them somewhere else?
Well, that's the deal. It's like now I just have them back on CD. I have no digital copy of them.
Got it. The reason I bring Napster up is because it just got bought for $200 million.
Yeah.
$200 million.
Who knew it still had a value associated to it?
And it's got to be because of the branding, the name Napster. Everybody knows it. Everybody recognizes it. So it got bought. Because remember back in 2016, they tried to launch it as like an Apple Music or an Amazon
Yeah, it's
Music
own individual.
And I don't know how it did, probably not well because nobody uses it. But yesterday, it was acquired by a 3D tech company called Infinite Reality. And Infinite Reality says it's going to use Napster to create 3D virtual spaces to allow music fans to enjoy concerts or listening parties together and let musicians sell merchandise and all that sort of thing. So they're kicking it back. It's still going to be a music platform, but a 3D virtual experience. So I guess it's like you're at an Elton John concert or at a Pearl Jam concert or at a Kenny Chesney concert.
Have you seen any of the 360 cameras that they'll put up on the stage? And if you've got one of the VR headsets, it's kind of like being right there. It's pretty impressive.
I know some folks that work in the Kenny Chesney camp, and they are building what will become his Sphere show. And they've been working on this thing for a long time because they knew it obviously well before they announced it. And they said this is going to be immersive. They said it's going to make U2 look like it didn't even happen. That's how much time and money they're spending on it. Will it turn out to be the case? I don't know. But I know that it's not going to be for lack of effort. But I bet that's something at some point that'll end up on Napster, right? You'll be able to have that immersive experience as if you're sitting in the Sphere, which is all immersive.
Did you ever see Foo Fighters after the Super Bowl like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Both of my daughters actually. There's things that I buy and I go, oh, whatever happened to that? I haven't seen them with their Oculuses or Oculi for like 3 years. All right. But we got them at the time and now they've got an Oculus. But yeah, they both, made it a point to like, Dad, you got to come see this. And I watched the Foo Fighters and that experience.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know if there's anything that's really cool about an Oculus.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. I've never even had one on my head, so I don't know anything about it.
It weirded out my wife.
Did it?
Because you can be in one of the rooms, like let's say a comedy club and watching this or at this concert, and you're in there with other live people, so they can like talk to you, and that weirded her out.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd, but whatever. I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to give it a try. I don't know that I'll subscribe to Napster just to be able to do it. I mean, the last thing I need is another subscription.
Oh, I know. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, there's no way I can afford that. I'm over.
You're tapped out?
Yes. Because it was supposed to be cheaper.
Oh, we're hearing from Scotty Mack saying that the PGA app on Oculus is awesome, where you can watch the golf tournaments that way.
Oh, wow.
Which would probably be a good use of it.
And I've seen the commercials a little bit for like the NBA. The dude is the ad, and it may be for the Oculus. I don't know. But I know the dude sitting at his, he's at a laundromat washing his clothes, and he puts on the mask or the helmet or whatever that thing is. And then he's inside. He's sitting courtside at his favorite team's game. I think that, at least on the surface, sounds cool. But I've never done it. I wonder if Scotty Mac's actually done it or he just knows about it.
Now he says that, no, you play golf. So now he's lying to me. He lied to me.
Oh.
Now he made me look bad on the air. I quit for the day, Scotty Mac.
Yeah, that's right. With 4 minutes to go, he's out.
Way, do you see the look on my wife's face when she had on the Oculus? How she did not like it.
You could tell she's uncomfortable. It is so clear.
She's like, I don't like this one. Like she's got her arms tucked into her body like she's ready to fight someone.
And looks with her fist. I mean, she's holding whatever that device is that goes along with it.
Yes, you have the controllers right, that help you move around in the Oculus world.
They look like boxing gloves.
She did not like it.
And she looks like she was ready to use them like boxing gloves. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm interested to see if this is a thing, if this becomes a thing. Because truly, at this point, I've heard about it was 3D TV for a little while, and then it was Oculus.
Well, that was dead on arrival.
Yeah, it was DOA.
That was quick. Sure. Remember when you had ESPN 3D?
Yes.
Like, why are we broadcasting games in 3D?
Yes. And none of
just go to the game.
None of it makes sense. None of that stuff makes sense to me. And until I guess it grabs all, because it looks like it hadn't made sense to anybody else. It's not gone anywhere, with the exception of the Oculus there. But like you said, Los, you bought them, and then nobody uses it, so it can't be that cool.
They both wanted it. They both got it. Now I don't know where it is anymore.
The problem is those things weigh a lot, and when you put them on your head, you can only wear them for so long before they start to get fogged up. It's still uncomfortable. Really? It's still not ready for prime time.
They're a little bit awkward, a little bit.
But I like what you said there, though, Dre. Not ready for prime time. And that's the whole point, right? None of them have been successful because none of them are ready for prime time. I would be intrigued if they could make it, because I can't afford to go to Las Vegas to see Kenny Chesney or Zach Brown Band. It's another band that's doing a Sphere run.
You need that kid to quit college.
I know,
you can go back to your trip to Fantastico of Tug.
No, I can't wait.
He's just thinking about it like how much more? How much
if they
longer?
could do it for college baseball, that would save you a lot in gas money.
Sure
you just
would.
set your little 360 camera up there on the sideline. And
Sure would.
Pop Tug is there every week.
Hollering and screaming. Because at this point, because he transferred to the JUCO, and they don't even run Game Changer.
Yeah,
we have to go look for the other team's Game Changer to be able to keep up with my son's game. When they're playing at home at Riley Park, which is a former stadium that the Single A Braves played in the 80s, the Sumter Braves, and you can still find their T-shirts and hats on eBay. I've looked. So the stadium's like almost 100 years old. They just dumped a couple $1 million in it. The city did, and have. I mean, it's really nice. They got this huge, nice scoreboard. They've got flat screen TVs all through so you can see, and it's got line up and pitch count and everything you want. It's a cool experience, and you can watch it, but you can tell they're still trying to work the controls. Like when they flash, they've got the broad, probably from an outfield camera, looking from about shortstop to the plate so you can see the at bat. But when somebody puts the ball in play, they're still trying to figure out how to flip it around.
How to get that thing, give you the right view.
Yeah, exactly. And it bounces around a little bit, and you're like, oh, my God, I'm dizzy. I may throw up sitting in my living room. So, yes, Dre, if they could figure that out, it'd be fantastic. Maybe Napster can help them at some point. I don't know. I know I can't afford another subscription. So if eventually this works out.
If anybody has a subscription, you want to donate it to Tug the way he's donated his DirecTV subscription to everyone else, he'd be very happy with you.
Dude, I got to tell you, they would call my DirecTV subscription, if this was in the world of like the underworld.
It's a whore.
Yes, I was going to say hooker, but whore, yes. That's what it is, because everybody's got it.
I've had her. Everybody's had her. How do you think I watched the Hawks last night?
My brother-in-law has it. My father-in-law has it. My mama has it. My sister has it. Los has got it. Dre, you're next.
Which really kind of throws me off here, because every now and then it'll show you what somebody else is watching, and I immediately think to myself, like, I can't believe Tug is like into that. But it's not you, and it's not your wife either.
Dude, I mean, I'm not kidding. At one point, they're going to have to tell me, dude, you've hit your login. Because my son's got it over. He's got it on his laptop that comes home. He's got it in the house, in his apartment.
And can you tell whether it's your father-in-law or anybody else to stop putting the closed captioning on?
I don't know why that happens, but every time I turn on the TV, closed captioning comes on.
It's not me.
Okay, I don't know who it is.
Somebody keeps putting the closed captioning on.
It's got to be my father-in-law, because he's a little bit hard of hearing. But it has to be one.
I want to be able to read the game. I'm like, I can't see them shoot, dude.
Turn it off. Damn it, turn it off. That'll do it for us. Appreciate you being here. Y'all come back now, you hear? Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Donald Trump's education department's announced 60 more colleges and universities today will be having their federal funding taken away over Jew-hating harassment, including 60 more warned, including Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Rutgers, Newark, Sarah Lawrence, State University of New York, the New School, and Wellesley. Federal Jew-hating task force pulled back $400